sessions, one platform, three amazing things going on this morning. But before I continue, let me speak to my panelists. Smile, you're welcome. Happy Workers' Day.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me start from my extreme. Tega.
Yeah.
Tega Ademuyiwa.
Yes.
Feyi Shomi and Femi Darabi Don. You're welcome to the platform.
Thank
so
you.
Tega, let me start with you. What are your expectations for today's platform?
For me, thank you first of all. For me, I would say that I want to learn. For me, platform has been a place to learn about companies, learn how people are doing things that have been successful, building things, building themselves. And I personally will be going to the Marriott, because I want to learn how to manage people, how to get the best of people, how to get people to basically see the best in themselves, because I have been helped by seeing, would I say, successful systems. I would also want to impact people's lives by building stuff like that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And for you have a 9 to 5, but you had mentioned that the session you'd have wanted to attend was the one on entrepreneurs. Why?
Thank you very much for that question. I like to see people who have created things, because I like to think of myself as a creator as well. So I think it would be good to learn from someone who has created something, so that I can take the steps, take in, see what I like, see what applies to me, and yeah, basically. So that's what I want to see.
Excellent, thank you. And Femi, so I want you to tell us about some of the 3 sessions and some of the speakers.
Okay, thank you very much. For me, I had a bit of a confusion as to where I really wanted to go, because I'm in tech, and I've been in the startup environment for the past 10 years, and I've also I've worked with founders to actually birth,
Their businesses.
So for me, I want to be in Igomu, to be with people building from scratch, which is my space. And also want to be with people in tech. Well, I mean, you guys have said it's for
women.
Women only, I mean. And also entrepreneurship. So I have my own side gig, and at the same time, I work in an organization where I help the founders to build their systems. So I think for me, I would say coming from these 3 directions makes it a 3-fold experience that I believe is going to deliver massive results. I think this is going to be the most impactful platform that I've ever experienced, because you have the full view from internal entrepreneurship. You have people building from scratch, people looking at the top, as entrepreneurs, and also people in tech, which everything is being enabled by tech at the end of the day. So I think it's going to be one of the most impactful platforms that I've ever attended. Excellent. And I look forward to that. Excellent. Experience.
And I was smiling when you were talking about the confusion, because I know that there are some men that want to be
absolutely.
So the good thing about it is all of the sessions we broadcast live, and I would say maybe the best way to do it is focus on one, then afterwards you can go back and watch the others. But Tega, for you, so for someone, in a younger generation, I don't want to give you anything, just younger generation, how should people really partake of the platform to get the best of it? And you can talk from experience as well.
Okay, thank you. So I think for me, I would start for me, it's more important to learn from people who have been successful. If you do not have there's a story I heard recently of footballer Van Persie. I think it was Pastor Podri that spoke about it. When he moved to Arsenal, he was training one day, and then there was this player that was really good then. He came in and he saw the player, I can't remember his name now, but it was Arsenal's best player then. He saw the player training, and he was like, oh, I love the fact that, this was Van Persie saying, I love the fact that the same thing you guys see on the pitch is what this guy brings to training. He brings this 100 every day. And at that moment, Van Persie was like, okay, yes, I want to be as great as this guy, based on what he saw. And for me, it's the same thing. When I see people who are successful, how they got there, and how they've basically done things that built them. So I take out those things, and that's what I want from the platform. I think it's a place where you have access to people's minds. People come and give you wisdom, and it's basically just there for you to understand. Take what you need and then apply it into your life. And so I think for young people need to understand the importance of having someone to look up to, having somebody to listen to. You might not, have time to meet these people ever again, but the fact that they're giving you this insight at a certain time, I think it's really important to pay attention to that, depending on what you need it for, but like just pay attention to that and take out what you need.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. Faye, for you?
First off, I'll start by saying you should have a book and a pen because you will learn. So I just always had it in me. When people are speaking, I'm almost always writing. I'm typing on my phone because what's the thing? The bluntest, the most blunt
pen. Something, yes, is the
sharper than the sharpest mind or something like that. So you never know when one word is going to come and it may change your life or you may not remember. So I always advise to have a book and a pen or something you can use to take notes. Also, to have an open mind. I learn a lot when I hear people speak. So most times I'm quiet. I want to hear what does this person have to say because I may think I know something or everything about something, but there's just always something that somebody else has to say that would maybe change your life. So have an open mind, try to see where they are coming from, and then put what you've known aside a bit. Try to see, why is this person doing this thing this way? Why did this person choose to do this thing this way? And if you pay attention well enough and then think about it later, you go back to your books that you wrote in, you go back to your books and you look at the things that you've seen, you may get new insights. You may get new, something different from what you even got the first time. And also, sharing with people. I like to listen to things and tell my friends. I see reels, I see videos, I see snippets, and I want to share with somebody else. I want to talk to somebody about this thing I've learned. So it's not just about, oh, I'm writing and I'm thinking. When I'm sharing with people, they're telling me what they know. We're building on the thing that we both know, and then we're looking for how to go higher, do better, and
So good, so good. Let me, in 30 seconds, how should people prepare for post-platform to make sure that what they've gotten from this, they actually apply it?
Absolutely. I think being a physical event across the 3 locations gives you the opportunity to actually network with people. I believe in community, and we learn through community. So after platform, I still believe people will make friends coming to the grounds. And like what she said, afterwards, within that community or that ecosystem, relate what you've learned, share ideas, let there be a cross-pollination. You might have your friend attending Lekki for the women in tech. You might have another friend in Igomu. You might have another friend. You guys can come together and gist around what you've learned, post the platform, and you'll be able to extract much more value from this experience.
Thank you all so much. So, so good. And right now, we're about to go straight into the sessions for today. One of the things that have been said here is share. If you're watching this and you can't be live, share the links that you're watching from and make sure that friends, family, this, watching online, hashtag around, but also form communities online. And you never know, it just might be next week, even your next sessions. Once again, this is coming to you live from the Covenant Place, Igomu, right next to the National Theatre. The session on entrepreneurship is happening at the Marriott Ikeja, and the session for women in business in amazing epic platform that will absolutely transform. My name is Audrey, and we will see you once again. Enjoy the platform and take most. Thank you for joining us.
everyone. You're welcome again to this edition of the platform. This is Workers' Day, so I'm of our work and how that adds to nation building and wealth creation. We're beaming live from the platform Nigeria. We're beaming live from the Covenant Place, Igomu, Lagos. We're right beside the iconic National Arts Theatre. My name is Ngozi Akinyele, and I welcome you to the platform Nigeria 35.0. A round of applause, please. The consistency, the hard work, all of the insights and knowledge that has taken us this far. Well done. Like I said, it's a very special edition of the platform. It recognizes the diversity in the nature of our work and also reinforces the central role of work in wealth creation. Our theme this edition is Wealth Builders. And it's also special because we're live in 3 different locations running concurrently. That is powerful indeed. And so right here at the Covenant Place, we are talking about entrepreneurship, building a business from scratch. While at the Lagos Marriott Hotel, we're discussing entrepreneurship, engaging senior and middle managers. And then at the Covenant Temple in Lekki, it's all about women. It's a women's affair, as we're talking about women in business and women in tech. So I think the women here made a very conscious decision to be here, right? If you're a woman here, please celebrate yourself. You made a choice to come and talk about entrepreneurship. You know, a couple of my friends and family placed a wager about where I will be today. They don't know that we are nothing but pencils in the hand of the creator. And if you don't know where that expression is from, please feel free to append auntie to my name. The hashtag for today is the platform NG35, the platform NG35. So it's a global media event. That's the reason why we are promoting the hashtag, because the conversation here is only a fraction of what can happen when we promote it and project it online. So please join the conversation. Even if you haven't heard anything yet, post the pictures that you took. And then as we go along, please post your key takeaways using the hashtag, the platform NG35. Without further ado, it's time to bring up, if you may, for the opening argument, the visionary convener of the platform Nigeria, the senior pastor of the Covenant Nation Global, Pastor Foju Oyemade.
Welcome again to the platform. This is our 35th edition, as you have heard. It started in 2007, and it was on the 1st of May, 2007. We decided just to get people together on May Day, instead of us, well, what we usually do, to discuss labor and capital in a free market economy. Now, I have spoken several times about how the platform evolved. It went to a place where we started holding it at the Tafawa Balewa Square, where thousands of people used to gather. The vision at first, to be honest, was just to have 2,000 to 3,000 people in a hall, but it blew beyond what we thought. And so in 2009, I think we were in the Tafawa Balewa Square with about 21,000 people. And then in 2010, because of the the platform for that innovation in 2010, Now, this edition, what we are dealing with is entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. And the truth is they are truly the heroes and the drivers of growth in a nation. And they do that through innovation and resilience. They unlock the hidden capital through products and services. And they can be found both in the public and also private sector. In other words, in corporations and also in government. First things that entrepreneurs do, and this is why we should really honor them, is that they are the ones who create jobs. Through innovation and recognition of opportunity, they create jobs. The second thing that they do is that they are the ones who stimulate economic activity within a place that brings about development. The third thing that entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs do is that they increase efficiency through innovation, bringing in new products and services to the marketplace. That's why I also mentioned you can have entrepreneurs in government, that is, people in government that increase the efficiency of how a government functions through products and services. And also they improve the standard of living. Anywhere you have the standard of living being improved, you should understand that it's an entrepreneur who brought forth a product or a service that improved our standard of living. And one of the greatest things they do in society that might go unappreciated is this. They are the ones that produce the highest number of role models and mentors. In other words, when you go and meet young people and you talk to them who are your role model, they'll probably point to somebody who started out a business, who grew a business, or went into a corporation, and through innovation and products and services, they brought forth and changed things. So that's where we get the largest amount of mentors for the next generation. And finally, what I would say is that they unlock hidden capital, all right, through products and services. They are the highest number of taxpayers in any society, okay? And they can be found. So they provide opportunities also for social mobility, where people have the opportunity to move up the ladder and become more productive citizens there because somebody started a business, somebody took a risk, somebody started a corporation. You have a lot of people now becoming mobile socially and going up the social ladder. So we want to honor them and thank them for their contribution to society. And with that, I welcome you all to the 35th edition of the Platform Nigeria. God bless you all.
Another round of applause for the visionary of the Platform Nigeria. Once again, the hashtag for the conversations online is the Platform NG35. Without further ado, I'll bring up our first speaker, who, like Pastor has just said, obviously is a mentor and a blueprint for anyone looking to flourish in a foreign land. And his name is Mr. Joe Osawaye. Joe Osawaye is the CEO and owner of Kiza Group, comprising Kiza Restaurant and Lounge, Kiza Realtors, Kiza Bespoke, and Evasion Verse. He is a visionary entrepreneur with a career spanning over 40 years across diverse industries. Joe's journey epitomizes the fusion of the entrepreneurial spirit, leadership charisma, and a profound commitment to cultural diversity. Joe is also an accomplished author who has penned insightful contributions to notable publications, including Titans of Africa and the Black and African Guide to Moving to the UAE. Kiza DIFC by Joe is the first Pan-African restaurant in the United Arab Emirates, located within the Dubai International Financial Center. The story of Kiza Dubai is a testament to Joe Osawaye's unwavering passion, innovative spirit, and his commitment to sharing the richness of the African culture with the world. Please join me as we warmly welcome to the platform Mr. Joe Osawaye.
I start by saying this is the day the Lord has made, and we're going to be rejoicing and be glad today. I bring greetings from the city of dreamers, Dubai. And we're going to be looking at so many things and sharing so many things today. The topic is very interesting. Starting business from scratch. I'm a Nigerian to the core, without any apologies. I love this country. It has blessed me so much. I went to primary school, secondary school, high school, university, everything in Nigeria. The lessons I've learned as a Nigerian is what has helped me in my different activities in the different places I do business around the world. So we have a fantastic country. It's a great country. It's a country of amazing opportunities. And it is a very, very good school if you need to go out to go excel. So I take myself as a typical Nigerian, where everywhere we go, we show our traits. One of our biggest traits is our tenacity. Another one is our spirit of excellence, determination, go for it attitude, and all that. So I thank this country so much for the opportunities it had given me to showcase the goodness of the land. I have a disclaimer, first of all. When I was being introduced, say he's the owner of Kiza Restaurant and Lounge and the other companies you talked about. I am actually not the owner. Let me tell you guys, I'm not the owner. I'm a steward. The owner of the businesses is the king himself. It is so difficult when you want to own. That means you have to sustain. We don't have the capacity to do so. It is only him that has that capacity. We're going to do a small exercise. But before that, let me say that I am one of you guys. I only started this journey before you. I started my business almost 20 years ago with $214, 30,000 naira. Can I say that again? I started my business 20 years ago, not with $30 million, not with $3 million, not with $300,000, but 30,000 naira. At that time, it was 140 to $1, so it was about $214. For God to have used the times of small beginnings with $204 or 30,000 naira, and with him, working with him as a steward and listening to him as he says, do this, do that, do this, he has brought us this far. That same God is available for you today. The equivalent of 30,000 naira then is probably about 300,000 now based on the exchange rate. But it doesn't matter. We're dealing with the one that gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Now the small exercise. Can you guys, just for a few seconds, just close your eyes, just for a few seconds. You can open your eyes now. Once you close your eyes and you open it, it gives you yet another opportunity to be impactful and to make a difference. So this gift that God has given us called life is a gift that we need to use to impact the world that He has allowed us to be and to be a blessing to the people around us. I greet all great Nigerian workers as we celebrate an amazing day today, the Labor Day or Workers' Day. We are some of the most resilient workers and some of the smartest minds on earth. As you travel around the world, you will start to appreciate who the Nigerian is. Such an amazing set of people. Let us celebrate ourselves. You know why? Because nobody will celebrate you. So we'll celebrate ourselves. Now we're starting from scratch, from the beginning. And I told you guys that I own no business. I'm a steward. So what happens is I need to work with the one that owns everything, and we take it day by day. But the great master, so it's a relationship between a king and the citizens, or a master and a steward, or a father and a son. So, the first entrepreneur that ever started this whole journey of entrepreneurship is God himself. If we look at the book, which I call the Constitution or the law, it starts in a very interesting way. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What does that tell us? He completed everything from his first statement. In the beginning, he created the heavens and the earth. Therefore, whatever dreams you have in your heart is already completed. Can you hear me? Whatever dreams you have in your heart is already completed. So what happens is that the master completes it, and then it comes to you, and you now work with him to accomplish it in your own realm. But it's already done. That's why he introduced himself first in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. As I speak, I'm a recipient of God's mercy and his grace all the way. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. He now starts to explain to us how we must approach this thing called entrepreneurship or business. He told us first that, you know what, I started and I finished, but I want you to walk with me in this journey. But the first thing that's going to happen, I'm going to bring a chaotic situation to you. Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. The earth was without form. There was total confusion. And there was major problem, which is similar to what we have now. When you look around our society, a lot of the things that we call problems is a setup. The problems are the opportunities. So when you look around, after this meeting, from what I'm going to be talking about and the rest of the speakers, every time you see something that looks like a problem, that is your opportunity. You got to rejoice. I was looking at statistics the other day from a group called Nairametrics. They ranked Nigeria as 114 as a place of, in the area of competitive index, 114. Looking at it plainly, it looks like that is a terrible position. But guess what? What did I say just now? The problem is what? The opportunity. Therefore, for Nigeria to move from 114 position to 100 position, some people called entrepreneurs would have brought certain products or certain services to move that. That is money. Yeah? Because when you provide a solution to improve the lives of people, to bring value to the table, you'll be rewarded. So we are at a position where the opportunity is so big. And you know, when a target is so big, it is almost impossible to miss. So if we were 5th position, it tells you that the opportunity is small. But we are 114. We should be rejoicing. I'm seeing people not. You are supposed to be rejoicing because that's the opportunity. We're talking about entrepreneurship, yeah? Entrepreneurship is bringing solutions to a space, and you're rewarded either through a product or a service or a combination of the two. So some of you guys will be the persons that will move Nigeria up the ladder, and you'll be rewarded. So start to prepare your mind and start to see things that look like obstacles as great opportunities. So we said, the master starts from the beginning and finishes first. Then he comes to his son and says, okay, I have put a vision in your heart. Let us work together and accomplish it. But it sets you up, and it gives you a problem first, which is what we see in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. But because he's a loving father, he's not going to leave us in limbo or in a state where we'll not be able to handle situations. So what he does is exactly what he did in verse 3, where he said, let there be light. What was he talking about? He was talking about knowledge and information. What is this knowledge and information? It is the book that I call the law or the Constitution. Guys, listen to me. We're still in the area of business, but there are foundations you must have first for you to truly excel in this thing called entrepreneurship. So the master says, let there be light. He brought information, knowledge. And when that knowledge was now available, it started the journey of creation. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and it rested on the 7th day. What actually happened after day 6 was that it decided to co-rule with us. And it gave us the land he had created and said, you know what? Go dominate the air, go dominate the sea, and go dominate the land. Look after it and keep it. So the first entrepreneur handed the whole entrepreneurship to us. You understand? So entrepreneurship is a calling. It's not how we see it as business. He showed us by example first. He did it. He showed us that the problem comes first. Information comes. And then in that space of information, you can start to create and innovate. Therefore, the responsibility of adding value, creation, and innovation has now been handed over to us. But not in isolation, because we're going to be working with him because it is his overall vision, but we're just part of it. So he says, the law. He says, this book that I'm giving you is called law. And it says, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth. You shall meditate upon it day and night to observe all that is written in it so that you will be prosperous, and you will have good success. So now we have the law. We have the illumination. We can start the journey of creation in conjunction with the Master himself. So all businesses is a solution to a problem. You will need to work with the Master to open your eyes and your ears to know which problem you want to solve. Nobody can tell you which problem to solve. You will need to, based on give things, and what you hear from the Lord, will determine what business you want to solve. It says the seeing eyes and the hearing ears, the Lord made them both. So it will tell you and it will speak to you concerning what problem you need to solve. I have with me today what I call a cheat sheet or a hack sheet, or what we used to call those days, cronje or expo. So what I'm going to share with you today is the cronje, the expo, the hack sheet, or the cheat sheet. It is based on my failures, my lessons, and the secrets that have taken me from 30,000 naira to where God has put me today. Thank God for technology, that this message can be played back over and over again. But I recommend that you have your notes, because when God speaks through people, there are certain things that you hear differently. Yes, there's the general thing, but there's a specific message He wants to drop in your heart. So be attentive. Get your notes out, and as I speak, it will minister to you, and you will write what you need to write. It will be a time of illumination, and a lot of light bulbs will come up in your minds as I speak. In this auditorium, and from all the people that are watching globally, there will be the next Mark Zuckerberg. There will be the next Jeff Bezos. There will be the next Aliko Dangote. At least we know those ones here. Some of these other names, some people might not be able to connect. There will be the next Elon Musk out of this space. You know why? It's not about you. It's about him and what he wants to do. Don't think you're too small or despise the times of small beginnings, because 30,000 naira, $214, can be a $2 billion business in the hand of the Master. As long as you walk with him, listen to him, and you co-rule together. The journey of life starts with our birth and when the Master calls us back home. But our desire as entrepreneurs is to leave an impact. During this time that has been allotted to us. We've seen in creation how innovative the Master is. Whether you look at the land and the creatures of the land, you look at the seas and the creatures of the sea, or you look at the birds of the air. The diversity of these creatures is so amazing. When you even look at the people in the auditorium and look at our faces, how they differ, This is amazing innovation and creativity from the master. That same spirit is what he has given us. Do you understand that? That same spirit of creativity and innovation is what he has given us. Reuters brought out a report that the unemployment rate in Nigeria is 5% of the total population, and it's going to be climbing. So let us understand one thing. There is no way the government or the public sector can create enough jobs for all the working class people. It's not possible. There is nowhere on earth that has been possible. What does that tell us? We might need to employ ourselves. Yeah? Because there'll be no jobs. No government can create enough. Neither can the public sector. Since we're going to be employing ourselves, that is the beginning of the journey of entrepreneurship. I therefore say, ladies and gentlemen, in the auditorium and watching from around the world, welcome to the journey of entrepreneurship. You should clap for yourself now. That's why you came on. What is entrepreneurship? Remember, I said it's a relationship between the master and the steward, which was God's original plan from the beginning. That's why he gave us dominion, so that we can be exactly like him. For he told us that we were made exactly like him in his likeness. Therefore, his character and the way he functions has been deposited inside us. He has also given us resources, either from original materials that exist or things that have never existed that you can bring to life. So the two ways that you innovate or create is either from ready materials that you improve upon, or ready businesses that you can improve upon, or certain businesses that never existed and you create it. A couple of years ago, nobody knew anything about social media. Some people sat and created it. Now we cannot do without it. That is creating out of nothing. Creating out of a already existing material is, there's a restaurant that exists, but you come and you bring your own style and innovation and make it better. So in the intro, they talked about one of the things we do in Dubai, a restaurant in Dubai. When we started 12 years ago, there was nothing like that in the whole of the UAE. But we came and we looked at the space and we said, why not? Why are we celebrating other cuisine and we're not celebrating ours? So we said, let us look at the best location in the UAE, because that's where we deserve to be. And let us start to showcase our culture through food, music, and all the rest. And that's how Kiza was born. So what am I saying? You could create from nothing that's existing, or you could look at what is already existing and improve upon it, either through a service, a product, or a combination that is a solution to a problem and adds value to the lives of the people that you're engaging with. You guys know what an iceberg is? All right, if you don't know what an iceberg is, it's a big volume of ice that floats on water. But what happens is that there's a small part you see. If you look at the screen, you see the small part you see. That's just a little bit of the iceberg. The main part of the iceberg is hidden below. Nobody sees it. A lot of what happens in the journey of entrepreneurship is that part that you never see. "17 years of the platform. I cannot imagine what Pastor Bojo and the team has been doing behind the scene for us to now have 3 venues this year. So what we see is just that tip. So everything we see. But you cannot imagine what was behind this arrangement to make this happen. That part is much more important than what you see. For the law also tells us that the things that are seen are created from where? Good Bible students. Therefore, for us to enter into this realm of creation, innovation, and bringing solutions to mega problems, because the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the reward. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the reward. So look around our society. What are the major problems we have? If you can solve those problems, I thought I had 30 minutes. All right. I need to rush now. The first thing you need to check out is your mindset. Everything starts with a mind. You need to ask yourself some questions. What do I see? Do I see abundance or do I see scarcity? It's all in the mind. That's why the law says we must renew our minds. Am I capable? Do I deserve it? How do I benefit from this abundance? And how do I access it? 80% of the iceberg is prophecy, where you will need to consider faith, obedience, humility, finding your own prophet. You see, this particular one is very important. It says, believe in God and be established. Believe in his prophet and prosper. You need to spend time, strategy meetings with the owner of the business, where you discuss matters in prayer and meditation. You need to also cut a covenant by sacrifice with him. For if you've never gotten something before that you want, you need to give something you've never given before. The law says, gather my people together that will cut a covenant with me by sacrifice. Also the power of the spoken word. Both life and death is in the power of the tongue. How's your business? My business is fantastic. I don't care what other things are saying. I will declare what I want the business to be like, because that's what he has declared. 80% of that is prophecy. The next part is policy. That is the usual thing we see, the small bit. Opportunities, access to the market, value creation, understanding risk, pain, perseverance, rejection, fear, greed, people skills and all that. These are all different. Each of these vertical, you can spend a whole seminar talking about it. But because we have shortage of time, we're just going to touch, and go. I'm not talking about the legal structure now. The legal people can sort that out, where you're talking about whether it's a sole trader, partnership, what kind of partnership, limited liability company, or PLC. But the obvious things is that you must look at your legal structure as a business, because sometimes people don't take you serious if you don't have a legal structure. You must look at the market and do your research. You must do your risk assessment. You must look at financial management and capital management, branding, marketing, sales, IT, operations, etc., etc. Preparation is key because the opportunities will come. If you're not prepared and the opportunities come, you're not going to be able to make profit out of it. Therefore, success is preparation and opportunity. Dream big, but start small. But when should you start? Now. You know why? Because faith is now. Faith without works is dead. When I started with 30,000, what did I do? I bought a phone at that time. I registered a company, and I made business cards. I didn't have any idea of what I was going to do. But you know what I was doing? Every day I wake up in the morning. This is very important, guys. This is very important. Listen. I wake up in the morning, I wear my suit, and I go sit on my dining table. No idea of what I was going to do. But faith calleth things which be not, as though they were. The evidence of things not seen, the substance hoped for. What did I have? I had Baba God. I had my dreams. That's all I had. But with time, he did what only him can do. And today is history. Back in the city where I live, there's something called the Museum of the Future. If you've been to Dubai of late, there's this big, massive thing that they have there. It's a very interesting museum because what we understand as museums is that you put artifacts and things from the past there. But these guys are quite amazing. They put things for the future, how the future will be in 2071. So people can come into the future now and see. The same way the master says, write it down on the tablet, do it tarry, wait for it, it will not tarry, it will surely come to pass. The same way. So in our minds, let us get into the future now. It's called the power of the imagination. It is free. The future belongs to those who can imagine, design it, execute it. It isn't something you wait for, rather it is something that you create. So if you look at that, there are pictures of Lagos of now and Lagos of the future. A school, what it is now, what it could be. This is how we dream in Dubai. So I'm just bringing it to you. A typical bridge, this is what it can become. These are the things that we have in the Museum of the Future. It is something we can apply here as well. Think and project where you want to be and start to work towards it with the master teaching you step by step. Covenant. Pastor, see. How can it be? See. The power of your imagination. This is the ruler of the city where I live. Is the one that had made that statement. The future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it. It isn't something you wait for, but rather what you create. The man himself, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to dare to imagine it, dare to design it, and dare to clinically execute it. I'll see you guys on top.
Don't stop clapping. Thank you so much. I don't know about you. You may be seated, but that was a journey. It was a journey, right? And if there was nothing else you took away, this is one thing. Entrepreneurship is a relationship between God and his steward. In fact, life in its entirety can be summarized that way. Thank you so much once again, sir. Our next speaker is the only woman on this side of the platform this year. The vibrant Mrs. Funke Buckner of Birth. Yeah. I think that if you live in Nigeria, you must have attended an event that she has planned. If you live in Nigeria, and anywhere in the world, maybe even, she's a multi-award-winning founder and the CEO of Zafire Events Group. She's a visionary leader and trailblazer in Nigeria's events industry who has left an indelible mark spanning over 2 decades and shaping the event architecture in Nigeria and across Africa. Funke is an author, as well as the convener of the Events Experience Africa and the founder of the Zafire Business Training School. She has initiated other impactful ventures, including Zafire Connect series, Decor by Fortula, 1001 Lux Rentals, and the Business Growth Blueprint course. Her exceptional recognition, including being ranked among the top planners by the Destination Wedding Planners Congress and honored among the BBC 100 Most Inspirational Women. With a background in law, she's an eloquent speaker and actively serves on boards of various international events and wedding planning associations, congresses, and conferences, demonstrating her steadfast commitment to adding value and sharing her vast knowledge. Please join me as we welcome Mrs. Funke Buckner of Root to the platform, Nigeria. The hashtag again is your song. Please play her song. Please play her song, please. We need it.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I just needed to, if you know me, you know that I love to dance. Do you know that I love to dance? So I needed music to be gingered. All right, so I'm just going to quickly go straight. Thank you so much. I know that my time is limited, but I just want to first of all just acknowledge Pastor Baju. Oyemade. Pastor Baju, thank you for inviting me. I felt very honored, being invited to speak here today. But this is an amazing initiative, and I just think it's such worthy of emulation. So I'm just going to dive straight into it, and also because, Mr. Joe has also kind of even given us the foundation and laid the foundation for us. So, entrepreneurship, building a business from scratch. Now, I had this lovely image. It says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. You just need to begin the journey. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. That is the beginning. And before I go further, I just want to just tell you a little bit about my story, my entrepreneurship story, and how building a business from what almost didn't exist. It's like building something out of nothing, right? The part that led here, I had some lovely pictures. Just show the pictures. I just want to show you, it's important to document your journey and your story. Because when you've been in business for over 20 years, sometimes you forget the days of your humble beginnings, right? So look at me there. Look at me. I was very skinny. Can you see me there trying to just attend to someone? Just being really nice, but I'm always smiling. But that was how I started. And I just started by creating joy and happiness in people's lives. At the very beginning, how did I start? I identified a need. People were getting married, those years, and everybody was overwhelmed and stressed out when they were planning their wedding. People were not enjoying the moment. People were just frustrated. And I thought to myself, why can't people enjoy their day? Why is it that people are struggling? So what did I do? I ensured that I was always helping. I loved, if you know me, I'm very energetic. I'm someone that I just love to, make everybody feel good, So I just said, people cannot be stressed. And that's how I identified that need. I started helping people to plan their events. I would help them, run around and all that and coordinate. And then, of course, I provided the solution. What was the solution? I helped them to plan their wedding. Now, remember that when we started 20-something years ago, for some people in this room, you were not even born yet, right? So I'm sure that even the idea of event planning, event entrepreneurship, you are wondering people about, we needed to get people to buy into, and we just needed to show people that there was value in what we were doing. And that's how we started, and I continued to move, and I continued to just tips that helped me along the journey. What happened? I learned to stay focused and in my lane. One thing that's very important is that as a business or as an entrepreneur, when you want to begin, the first part of the journey is it's tough. And you are wondering, who sent me? How many of us feel that way as entrepreneurs? Do you feel that way sometimes? I love it. I feel that way even yesterday I still felt that way. Like, why am I in this journey? What's going on here? But guess what? When you have a vision, the power of a vision, we can never underestimate the power of a vision. You can never underestimate the power of dreaming big. When you dream big and you see yourself, when I was young, when I was younger, 20-something years ago, I never really saw myself as who I am now. I was just one young girl. I just wanted to help people. I never even imagined that I would be speaking at the platform today, guys. Clap for me now. And by the way, I just needed to just brag a little. I planned Pastor Kwaju's wedding. Hello. Do I deserve all those accolades, right? Fantastic. That's to show you how awesome I am. So the power of vision, the power of dreaming big, it's so critical in your journey of entrepreneurship. But of course, you start with that step, because if you don't even start and you don't move, you can't even begin or continue to grow. So I learned to stay focused and in my lane. And why am I saying this? It is easy to get distracted. It is easy to think that you need to be like somebody else or do something else like what everybody else is doing. But what is that vision that you have for your business? Stay the path. Walk the path. Tarry in that path. It may be hard. It may be tough. It will get tough. It will get tough. But you know what? Once you stay focused and in your lane and you carve a niche for yourself, you will thrive. I promise you that. I also said, one of the things I also learned was, as the business grew, I changed strategy a few times. What am I saying? I had a vision. To be the world, the one-stop solution in the events industry, global, etc. But as the business was evolving, when I started, I just started with, I wanted to just take the stress off you. That was the initial vision. But as the business grew, I realized that we needed to be more than just taking the stress off. We needed to also create experiences, which would also bring me to understanding your market as an entrepreneur, understanding the generation. Because as your business begins to grow and as your business begins to expand, you will realize that you cannot serve the market you serve forever. Right? So as with the business started, first of all, we were planning weddings or events for the younger generation. You know, they were my mates, so it was good. I was feeling cool. I was, on a high, right? And then all of a sudden, I realized I was growing older. What did it mean? Everybody was getting younger. So how do you stay relevant as an entrepreneur? How do you stay relevant in your business? So that's why I said, I changed strategy a couple of times, but remain true to the vision. And regardless of seemingly competition, because you're going to have competition. But once you keep your eyes focused on the prize and you keep your eyes focused on your vision, right? Because just think about it. It's like a marathon. You're running. Or even if you want to say it's like a sprint. But you must stay on your lane in a sprint. Because once you change lanes and you cross, you are disqualified. So you must continue to run in your lane. And even a marathon, you must continue to endure, right? With long distance. And so as a marathoner, you are taught endurance, resilience, patience, pacing yourself, different things. So we're all in different sports. But the key thing is that the finish line is the goal, isn't it? For your business, the finish line is the goal. So once you have that in mind, you can change strategy sometimes. You can rework. But don't ever forget the power of the vision that you have. Now, I harnessed, when I said that, when I changed strategy, say harness the power of rebranding and reinventing. Before, years ago, if they had told me to wear what I'm wearing today, I'll say, for what? But today I said, nah, I just need to, blend with the Gen Zs. Gen Zs, did I try? Am I winning? Did I do it? Good. Because it's so important that for your business, you cannot stay stagnant. You must continue to rebrand your business. You must continue to reinvent yourself. Whether it's a personal branding or the business itself. Because what happens to people is that people forget that you must reinvent, or you must innovate. If you don't innovate, your business will die. If they had said to me that in the next 20 years of life, we would still be running a business, Sapphire event, I would tell anyone, are you sure? But we've been hit several times, right? So the things that have happened that I've thought to myself, oh my God, I think this is not for me. And I know that a lot of us feel that way. But the key thing is that to understand that when you are on this journey, it's a journey that for some people, it's instant. For some people, it takes longer. For some people, they need more help than others. But the key thing is we're all going to get to that finish line. So rebranding and reinventing. So I looked at the business. I said, you know what? Which will also bring me to the power of teamwork. Having a dynamic team. I think I'm maybe in my office, I'm probably the oldest, right? Because, yeah, I'm the oldest, I think, yes. So I had to surround myself with young people that were smarter. Because one thing you have to understand that even as you're running a business or you're as an entrepreneur, you can't do everything by yourself. So you need to harness your skills, your strengths. What are your strengths, right? Understand your strengths and use your strengths to build in the business. Identify the skill gaps that your business needs. For example, I'm not the biggest. I'm not the best at paperwork. I don't like paperwork. I don't like it. But we need to do paperwork. So I identify people in my office that love paperwork. They are my best friends. The guys that love technology, they are my best friends. So you just need to ensure that you look inwards into your team and harness even the skills, the strengths of every member of your team. Very, very important. Every member of your team, you need to ensure that you're looking at their strengths and you use that to build a diverse and a dynamic team that will carry the business forward continuously and continuously. Right? I also said I learned to understand the dynamic and fluid nature of the market and our clients. We're in a market where the people's taste changes every single time. When we started, it was just taking the stress. It was easy. As the business grew, they wanted to have an experience. I used to tell my team that, what is this experience thing now? Why are we creating experience? It's not just to plan events. But I realized that people wanted to have an experience. So we did not say, whatever, I'm not going to do that. We had to say, what does the market want? What do the new generation, what are they looking for? What do they want? So the next thing was to begin to match what they want and also think ahead of them. So that's also another thing as an entrepreneur. As you are building your business from scratch, you must understand that as the business grows, your market will change. And you must also be ahead of your market. So don't say this is how we've always done it. Don't say that. Don't say, oh, we can't do that. No way. Don't be rigid. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Be flexible. Be fluid. Look at trends around you. But without compromising the vision of your business. That is also important. Do not compromise on your values. Right? So even as I continue. So in building, it said as the business was progressing and as your business progresses as an entrepreneur, I've talked about amplifying your good and downplaying your weaknesses. Maximize the power of branding. Be known for something. Be known for something. What do you stand for? What is your signature? Be authentic. Be authentic. Authenticity sells. Be authentic. As you are authentic, let me tell you, first of all, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Everybody is not going to like you or your business. Some people think I'm too hyper. Yes, Pastor Koji, yes, they think I'm too hyper. But guess what? The hyper nature, some people love it. What do you think? Exactly. So people think, oh my gosh, she's just too much. She's just too much. Oh my God, no. Hello? This is me, and I'm unapologetically me. Right? Do you understand? Fantastic. And that is what you should actually make sure that your brand is about. Your brand, your business must be authentic. You will not sell to everyone. You can't sell to everyone. Is there any business that sells to everyone that you know? So identify that market. But make sure that your brand, you so build your brand that people, in fact, one of the things I was saying to someone recently, I said, everybody may not like you, but be so good that they cannot ignore you. Be so good that they cannot ignore you. Which brings me to the power of being excellent in all things. You must be excellent. You do not have the room or as first of all, as human beings, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as Christians, as whatever religion, wherever you are, excellence is so important. You must strive for excellence in all you do. Because your business, your entrepreneurship journey relies so much on that excellent spirit that you have. And that's what is going to drive you. And that's what's going to drive your business. Sometimes, even my team, when I want to maybe not be excellent, because it's so imbibed in us, the team will tell me, no, we are excellent, so we can't do this. Imagine them telling me, so I will not go to a corner and say, okay, I've heard. But that's because we've built a culture of excellence. We've imbibed it in every single person. So it's so important that you build a spirit of excellence, right? And then, of course, another thing I wanted to say here is also that in your entrepreneurship journey, you are going to have ups and downs. How many people are having down times at the moment? Okay, no, sorry. They said we should not say we have down. I'm so sorry. We are successful. We are what? Blessed. Fantastic. But there are sometimes, right? Embrace every season. I wanted to encourage you there. Embrace every season. The season that seems seemingly low. It's a time to look into the gaps in your business. It's a time to build yourself. It's a time to develop yourself. It's a time to train yourself. It's a time to begin to see what new things you can do. Because when the abundant season comes, what happens? You will not have time to work in your business. So it's important that you learn to work in your business. It's very, very important. So embrace the seasons. There are different cycles in life. It's the same way we know that in life there will be ups and downs. So in those times that you are feeling down, you know, even as a Christian, the Bible says that David encouraged himself, in fact, super encouragement in the Lord. That is what you need. So which brings me to, okay, so I'm talking about, so committing to learning. I think I talked about developing yourself. You must be committed to constant learning. Hone your craft. Hone your craft means perfect your craft. Perfect your work. Let people see you and know, oh my goodness, these guys are great. If you are selling toothpaste, sell it. Let it be the best toothpaste. Look for everything to make your toothpaste the best toothpaste. If you have a restaurant, make sure that your restaurant is the best restaurant. Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a service, whether it's a product you have, make sure that that product and service is excellent. Build it. Go and learn how to do it better. Ask questions. Don't stay. I am a product of learning. I'm a product of asking questions. I'm a product of, I don't want to say, you know, if you say you're humble, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But I'm a product of, I don't know everything. Can you teach me? Can you guide me? Can you show me? From my peers alike, from my younger ones alike, from the older ones alike. So it's very important that we commit to learning. As a business owner or as an entrepreneur, one of the things you must also carry in your hand is learning emotional intelligence. Learning emotional intelligence. Just knowing how to use the right emotions in the situation you are in. Especially as a CEO. That one is another matter, another story for us CEOs. But I've talked about identifying the skill gaps you have as a business owner. And one of the things I said here is stay humble. Stay humble. Because when you stay humble, you stay hungry and you stay learning. You have not arrived. Somebody will do one transaction like this. We have arrived. What are they talking about? Learn delayed gratification. Learn delayed gratification. Let me break that one down. When you are building your business, right? Learn how to invest back in the business. Don't use the money, all the money you are making at all the times. Then we know that I have a new car. Then we know that I've just bought a house. And if I've not posted it online, how would they even know? Social media is for positive and there's also negative. There's the positive of it. And that's that. But it's so important that, you know, you stay humble, you stay hungry, you stay learning, delayed gratification. Then I think I've talked about building a team. It's here now. It says leverage team power. Your team, they are your first customers. Do you know that? Your team that you work with, that you are with as an entrepreneur, they're your first customers. A lot of us always think that, it is the external customers. You must sell the business to your team first. They must love everything first. They must know everything first before you go and sell to the customers outside. And your team must know that you care. They must know that you are invested in them, in their journey. Let your team shine. A lot of us as entrepreneurs, we are afraid of letting our team shine. Let them shine. Let them shine. And then, of course, I've talked about identifying the skill gaps in your team. And then, of course, as your business is growing, right, it's also important that you think about impact. So as you're going from one journey to the other, because everybody, and let me also say this as I'm talking, everybody's at different levels in their lives. So as I'm speaking to you, pick one part of it. Some people, you're already at the level of where you are so successful All they need to do is just cough, and you are just like there. Some of you are struggling. You have not even found the money to start the business. So you are in different seasons and different journeys of life. So when you understand where you are, right, you begin to look at the things that you need to do in that journey. But always think about your business and also making sure that there's impact. We all want to make money. Money is good. Money is sweet, right? Money is good. But guess what? Impact. Impacting people's lives is actually even more important. So give back, be impactful, give value. Leverage mentorship. Leverage the power of network, the power of people, the power of coaches, the power of your voices, people speaking to you. Leverage that. You are here now, so I'm glad that as you are listening, you are also leveraging on this. You understand what I'm saying? So pay attention to who you listen to and who you are surrounded with. There will be critics in your life. Listen to them. But there are some critics that you shouldn't listen to. Right? When you dream, you shouldn't listen to some critics. But you must listen to some. Because what it does is that it helps you. Because you can't see everything. In your business, there are blind spots in your business that only somebody from the outside can tell you. So you need to be able to discern as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Right? So, of course, as your business grows, don't stay. Diversify. You can diversify in the business or out of the business. So, different things. I've set up different companies, different expressions, just to also identify the various needs of the business. Now, this is one I needed to quickly say before I move. Do not be afraid. Oh my God, everybody's so perfect. Don't mind me, all of us. Everybody has failed. Don't be afraid to fail. Because what failure does is failure teaches you what not to do or what to do better the next time. I've cried many times. Many people have cried me. Okay, let's not talk about crying. Failure will teach you, and it's okay to make mistakes, but how do you build yourself, after you've made those mistakes? So basically, in summary, what am I saying? Believe in yourself, believe in the dream, be audacious. Because to build a business from scratch, you have to be audacious. Be audacious, stay focused. Of course, be tenacious. Tenacity is what will hold you. You remember during COVID, when all of things were crumbling, if you were not tenacious during COVID, resilient. So be tenacious, resilient, and then of course you have to be passionate. Passion is what will hold you when you are down, or when you feel like, oh my God, who sent me? I always like, okay, who sent me a message here? And then the next part is find your path. Of course, be excellent. Dream big. Have vision. Without vision, Mr. Joe has said all sorts about vision today. And then, of course, have foresight. And then one of the things I will just leave you with is always, always put your best foot forward. Thank you so much for having me.
She deserves another round of applause. She deserves a continuous looping round of applause. no matter where you are, no matter what you do, excellent. And I think as who you can put out your phone and how you remember the whole eyes. You, if you see if God as here, you need to listen and be a steward and allow him guide you step by step. So many, many powerful messages, so many, many things to take away. One more thing I know she said, Mrs. Funke said, is the power of networking, right? So the person beside you, do you know the person's name? That, yes, was very awesome. Did you come with the person from your house? Or what's the person's middle name? Hey, we can set questions now. But you know what? Can I aspect of it as well, making it more immersive is something that we can definitely, apply in our businesses as well. I know so many of us have visions. We have vision statements, mission statements, corporate philosophies. But how many of us have actually painted a picture of where we're supposed to be going in our businesses? People come in through the doors every morning. Do they really know what, your ROE of 20% looks like? Do they really know what, a customer base of 5 million people looks like? So I think it's also a great opportunity to use that learning to create immersive experiences, even in our businesses as well. And you don't have to wait until you are very big and you're large and all. We can all create our city of dreamers right here, right? There's no visa to Dubai. Is there visa to Dubai now? Not yet. So all the more reason why we have to create our own museum of dreams, right here as we are. So like I said, the platform is a global media event. As we go along in the day, we are beaming live on Channels Television. I don't think I mentioned that. Channels Television on DSTV channel. We are live. We're also live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. And this broadcast right here would end with all of our speakers, but we will continue with the broadcast from the Covenant Temple Lekki. So if you're a woman in business, you're a woman in tech, and you still want to catch up, or you know somebody who's at home and wants to catch the sessions from the 6 powerful, power-packed houses who are speaking on that stage, just know that right after this broadcast, it will be on Channels Television, and it's also live right now on YouTube. Covenant Place Igomu, and we're here on the platform. This edition is the platform Nigeria, the platform NG 35.0, talking about entrepreneurship, building a business from scratch. And our next speaker is no one else but Mr. Maya Atafo. Yeah. If you scream loud enough, you might get a free outfit. No, it doesn't work that way. He's a multi-award-winning fashion designer, bespoke tailor, and charismatic businessman. He's the founder and creative director of the iconic fashion brand Atafo. A multi-hyphenate, Mr. Maya Atafo's skills go far beyond design, having built an illustrious career working as the head of channel at Spice TV, strategy director at advertising agency The Firehouse, and fashion editor of Genevieve magazine. Atafo chaired the Central Working Committee of the Future Award Africa for 6 years before taking up a leadership role at the Advisory Council. Maya gained formal training at the prestigious Istituto di Moda Borgo in Milan, Italy, and he's a regular speaker at the Harvard Business School Africa Business Conference, and has also had his garments showcased at the Victoria and Albert Museum, Brooklyn Museum. Yes, he is a firm believer in empowering the next generation of creatives and pays it forward through a free fashion mentorship initiative called Fashion and Conversations, which gives young designers the knowledge of the fashion industry and the tools to start their own businesses. Please welcome with me with a round of applause, an outfit-winning round of applause, Mr. Maya Atafo.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the applause. Sometimes when they read that profile, you're wondering if it's you or someone else. I never take stock of my bus stops in my journey. I just keep journeying on. I do not stop to look back a lot of times. I think the journey is very important. And the journey never has a final destination. But you just keep going. Today, I decided to take stock. I stopped and looked back for a minute. That's because I am here today on the platform. I've one that has heard, watched, and listened to the platform. And when Pastor Kojo called me and said that he wanted me to be on this platform, I was moved. Because growing up, you always hear the platform, you hear it on radio, you know, you hear that jingle, the platform. Then you hear that voice that goes, it's the platform, the annual show about the Covenant Christian Conduct, Speaking is so and so and so and so, MD, managing director of the Also speaking is internationally acclaimed, the founder of this. Will be speaking at the platform. Do not forget, there will also be this. I'm like, Jesus Christ, am I one of those people now? I mean, am I those guys? Because when they call their CVs, I'm like, Baba God, when? Apparently, I am one. So that was my stop and look back moment today. And I always tell people, when you get awards and recognition, what that means is a setup. Because they've read everything you have done to this point. So when they call you again, they have to read something new. Because if they keep reading the things of the past, like I said, you will be in the past, you know. But to the reason why we're here, starting the business, building your business from scratch. I'm going to be very, very practical. I'm not very good at speaking with strategic talks. I'm very, very practical in the way that I talk. Because I'm not a very big reader. I'm a very good observer. So when people have read books for businesses and how to build businesses, I'm not one of those that have read a lot of those books. I do not have an MBA. But I learn from practicing and getting involved in things. And I think that's one of the best ways to learn. So my journey is taking me from being a student in the university, making a 2-1, graduating in agric economics, and going to study, doing a master's in information systems and technology, only to end up in British American Tobacco and the marketing department. So it doesn't stack up, right? I worked in the marketing, British American Tobacco for 4 years and a little bit, and I moved to Diageo, where I also worked in marketing for about 4 years plus, before I decided to quit to be, like I like to say, a full-time tailor. The experience from those places is very, very key. Now, I tell people wherever you are at all, no matter what you're doing, if you give your 100%, you will learn something. And sometimes it's one thing that you learn that you may use to start or build your business. So while you look at your boss and say, I want to be like him, figure out what he has done to be who he is today. I say, do not copy the execution, copy the principle. So we look at somebody and we like the way he's dressing. Then we copy the dressing. But you see, you are only one step behind that person. Because you have copied what he is today. What about what he is tomorrow? Because he is not, if you're a good professional, you're not what you are yesterday. You're not what you are today. You're building for what you'll be tomorrow. So when you copy someone, you're copying the person's past. And if you're copying in the past, you can never progress to the future. That means you're already obsolete. All right? So it's very important. So that's what built me. And I woke up one day, went to work. I started my business. I started fashion while I was still working. Okay? I did it for 3 years while I was working. And that's the key thing. And people tell me, oh, when do you know is the right time to stop? I'm like, I do not know when is the right time to stop, to move from corporate to your business. Because the day I quit my job, I didn't know I was quitting my job that day. I went into work. And I just knew, I think it's about time. Right? But I worked 3 years. So I went to my 9 to 5. I got there as early as 8 o'clock every day. Left maybe 6, 7 o'clock. Then go to my factory somewhere in Borno Road in Yaba. And I'm there till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And I go back home and my life continues again. But you see, at that point in time, I loved what I was doing, so it didn't feel like work. So when people are going like you're working too hard, I'm like, I do not understand what you're saying. That's because, one thing that Funke said today, I was passionate, very passionate about what I was doing. And I loved it. But that's how I lived and that's how I started it. Now, again, we're trying to tell you what you should do building your business from scratch. Many of these things is not what I've read, it's what I've experienced. So if I was to turn back the hands of time, what will I do differently to get it correct, right? There's this thing we always tell people, have a business plan when you want to start a business. That thing is always a long thing. And many of you hate hearing that thing. Okay, I will teach you something practical today, right, that may help you, small in that thing. But again, if you want to start a business, why do you want to start a business? Why? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Are you starting a business because you want to make money? It's not a bad thing at all. If you want to just make money, it's great because you're keeping your eyes on the number. You want to start a business because you are passionate about that particular thing, right? It's good to be passionate. But if you're not making money out of your passion, the only thing that you'll be blessed with is poverty. And we don't want that for anyone, okay? So money is important. But you have to think of why you want to be an entrepreneur. It's very important. Because people are like, I like to do this. But if you keep liking it, you're not making money from it, it's going to set you back. So think about that clearly. I think making money in anything that you do is very important. I don't say be greedy. But I think making money is very important. Whilst you're doing what you love or what you want to do, in there, you most likely will find your purpose. Right? If I was working in my job in marketing, I don't think I'll be able to talk to this number of people to set an impression on them. Okay? And while I was working in marketing, I always try to brag differently that, one of the boys that I recruited and the head office in Atlanta to be in charge of fruits. He called me Boston. Meanwhile, I'm a tailor. And he's the top of his marketing game. It doesn't stack up, does it? Because where we live in Nigeria, the guy is the one with the big title. The tailor is the other guy. The guy that I studied innovation with in Diageo, sitting next to each other, currently is the managing director for Pernod Ricard, which is the most luxury alcoholic beverage company in the world. He's the managing director, not marketing, managing director for Africa, based in Johannesburg. Right? That's my guy. So that's to give you the level that I could have been or surpassed if I continued in my career path. Do I regret it? No, I do not. Am I happy? Very happy. Right? Because life has taught me something. When you're working for yourself and you're making some kind of money, right? What you're doing when we are working and making money is that we're trying to buy our life back from society. That's what you're doing when you're making money. I'll make it easier for you. When you go on leave, right, you're not working. Probably travel to a nice destination. Living a good life. You're not doing anything for that point. So work is on pause, and you are enjoying life. But you paid for the holiday. So you just bought back that 2 weeks leave from life. How will it feel if you can buy back 10 years of your life from the world? You've made enough money, I don't have to work for 10 years. For me, that's the reason why we work. So you can buy back your life. Sometimes you buy it back in minutes, in hours, in days, in months. But it's key that you do that. So I digress a little bit. So let's go to the key thing. Starting differently, I'll start with a business plan. From scratch, have a business plan, okay? But let me make it easy for you. So for those of you, pen, paper, calculator, very, very important. I will run through this very, very fast, but you need to grab it, okay? Your pen, your paper, and your calculator. Let's do this real quick. This is your business plan, okay? There was a football TV reality show in Nigeria once done by somebody. And the registration fee to come on this show was 3,000 naira, okay? You buy the form for 3,000 naira. Then you get a chance to come on the show. A chance to come on the show, so it wasn't guaranteed. At the end of 4 weeks, right, 30,000 Nigerians had registered for a chance to get on the show. So at the end of 4 weeks, how much was made? Mathematicians here. What? 90 million is the correct answer. It sounds like it's not correct. Because I said 3,000 naira, Biri, 30,000 people. That gives you 90 million naira. So when I heard that, I flipped it around and said, okay, as a fashion designer, what can I make and sell and make 3,000 naira profit and be able to sell 30,000 units of that thing? Then I'll make 90 million naira. Very simple calculation. I started thinking, okay, if I have to sell 30,000 units, how many do I have to sell in a week? So you have to divide 30,000 by 52. Then when you look at that number, you're thinking, I can't actually sell that in a week. Then you know what? Flip the numbers around. What I did was that, okay, if I make 30,000 naira and sell to 3,000 people, I can make 90 million naira. What product can I do? And I looked at the product I was doing at the point in time. Trouser, shirt, dress. Then it hit me. Suits. People pay a premium for suits. Then my suit was like, 60,000 naira. And I was making 30K. Now, the suit is very bullish in price. But Pastor Podro can testify to that. I've sent him invoice many times. So I decided to go and start making suits. And this goes back to what Funke was saying. You should be flexible in your business ideas. Because if I said I was to be a shirt designer, I want to go and make suits. Now, what led me there was my thinking. So my business plan was now start making suits so you can sell suits, make 30,000 naira profit, and sell to 3,000 people. That will make me 90 million naira. Now I realized 3,000 suits is still a lot of suits in a year. Why am I pursuing 90 million naira? What about 20 million naira? So bring down the number of suits you want to make. Bring down your profit a little bit. So 20,000 naira, and I want to sell that to 1,000 people. That's 20 million naira. If it's your first year, bring it even down more, because most businesses don't break even, as they say, in the first 4 years. But Africans, we scatter that table. We start making profit even the first year. So that's it. So once you have that thing done, your question is now, how do I produce that thing? And who do I sell it to? And Funke talked about your target audience. Now, who are these people? And what is this product? Do you know that's your business plan? Now, how you do that is not the full detail of your business plan. And guess what? For almost every entrepreneur, the how is what they do not know. That's where the work starts. I want to be a fashion designer. I want to make clothes. Tick. I want to sell clothes to people. Tick. I want to sell this number of pieces. Tick. Now, how do you start? You start researching. So if you think that people start business and they know everything, how do you know the best location to put your restaurant? How do you know the people to target for events? Now you have to start learning. It goes back to something I think I said earlier. If you do not learn, you're only going to fail. So you have to start learning how to do this. But that's pretty much your business now. So that is how you start from scratch. Think of the product. And again, your first year can be 1 million naira profit. Then the next year you review to go to 2, then 3, then 10. Then you get to 1 billion. Then you can join Davido. 30 billion gang. You know what I mean? But that's how it starts, and that's how I've seen it. And I think it's very important. And think about it this way, starting from scratch. You can't be everything to everybody. Try to be something, right, to everybody. And when I say something to everybody, it doesn't mean that everybody will buy your something. It just means that you should know me for this thing. And that's how business starts. So you open a restaurant, you can't be Mr. Big / RSVP / Black Bell all together because you want to make everything everyone can eat. Start with something. Okay? Be something to everybody. And that's a good way to start business. And I think it's very important. And just check my notes. I want to get the key points here so I don't forget it. I remember starting from scratch. Starting from scratch, one thing I think is very, very important is we mix these things up. There's your product and there's your brand. They are two different things, right? Now, if I'm drinking this water here, I'm drinking water. It's a product. If I'm drinking it from that bottle, I'm drinking Nestle water. That is now a brand. But you see, your product has to be 100% certified. Excellent. You cannot be sewing clothes and sewing it for Nigerians, but you want to make $1. You know that the zip is not straight. But if the customer does not know, you will give them. Right? And she will pay you, and you take the money and put it in your pocket. So you've made money, right? But you see what you have done? You've actually stopped yourself from making more money. You know how? Because the customer is going to wear it. And people are going to see the customer and say, I like the dress, but guess what? The zip is bent. So you do not get a call to make another dress. So you see how these things can affect you. So your product has to be great. All right? Then your brand is the next thing. I have this product, but you see, how do I present it to people to see? Okay? How do I package it? If you came into my office today, how do I welcome you? That's part of your brand. Because people think branding is a logo and the color and the sign. No. If you came into my studio today and said, hi, good morning, sir. How are you doing? Please have a seat. What would you like? Tea, coffee? What do you want to do today? Okay, let me get the consultant for you. Consultant comes looking really, really nice, speaking to you nice. That's all part of your brand. It is what they say about you when you're not in the room. So it's a lot more than the nice font, your Instagram page. It's a lot more than that. Okay? And I always look at my brand as a human being. That's how I look at my brand. So if I say, this is a brand, all right? This is not me. I work for the brand. I work on the product for the brand, okay? So now there are three different things here. Product, me, and brand, right? If somebody comes and engages with the brand, what does the brand tell them? So I am looking for the MTN office. Oh, it's in Falomo. That's where the brand lives. That's the house for the brand. How do you know it? It's a big story building, white, and there's yellow somewhere. You are describing what? The brand, not the service, not even the phone. There's no call right now. When you hear Hilton, you think of a hotel. It has to be one of the top ones because Hilton is like this, that. You call another hotel, maybe an inn. You say, oh, it's nice, but it's the smaller one. But you see, you are describing something. How would you describe your brand? I call my brand a human being. I want to know the way my brand speaks, how it feels, how it looks. So it's very important. Last year, I did one of the arguably the biggest fashion show on the continent. It was in a hotel. I had 800 people sitting front row exclusively. There was no second row because everyone was important at the show. It had 8 lanes. We showcased 87 pieces, used 50 models. That wasn't me. That was my brand. Atafo put on the show. I served under Atafo to deliver that show. So these are the things that I look at when I'm starting from scratch. Okay? I think about brand. Why am I doing this thing? What is the product? Is the product excellent? Am I building a brand? Because you see, you get a second chance at building the product, but not a second chance at building a brand. The brand is a continuous journey. So today I can wake up and decide I want to make kids' clothing. I'm going to make kids' clothing, but under Atafo. And someone say, oh, if you can make suits this good, then you can make kids' clothes that good. It's the integrity of the brand now that is now falling on top of the other things you're doing. I can even decide to venture into actually making paint. Right? Because of what the brand can do. It's actually associated with quality and craftsmanship, so you know it can do this. Right? So you have to think about that and that. And when you start as a business person, you do not know this and you cannot know this. So it's things you have to develop yourself in. You have to read, unlike me, you have to read and research. YouTube is my friend. I like to listen rather than actually put my eyes and read things. So it's very important. So you have to keep learning. We've talked about the business plan and how the business plan works. And one thing again, if you're starting a business, and we are very short-sighted about this when I started my business, we always start like we're trying to do it for here. Trying to do it for your streets, or for your states, or for your country. Think you're trying to do it for the world. Think your product is global. Now, with technology, it is very possible. Now, if your product can even cross the oceans and the seas and the rivers, let your brand be able to cross. So my products are not physically available in where my name has gone. You can't get my suit in Brooklyn Museum, or can you get it in the Victoria and Albert Museum, or even Harvard Business School that I've spoken 3 times. But you see, the brand name is there. So when I go there with a product tomorrow, there's something that can connect. But if you have products that can move, think global. I know friends of mine that are doing business in Nigeria, and their customers are not even Nigerians in Nigeria. Just exporting and just making money in dollars. At the exchange rate that is going right now, that's a dream for everybody. So always think global. Your product has no standard. There's only one standard, and the standard is international standard. I'd run my business for 5 years. After 5 years, I went to school to go and learn pattern making for suits. I was a household name here. When I got to school in Milan, I saw people in my class that were Nigerians. They're looking at me like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I want to be the best. I brought in a master tailor who trained in Savile Row for 35 years to come and train me in Nigeria, not once, but twice. Cost me a lot of money. Because I want to be better than the guys in Savile Row. Yes, you guys own the suit, but I want to make it better than you do make it. And I can. Because it's craftsmanship, I've got the hands. All right? So for me, it's important. I don't see myself as a local player, as a Nigerian player. I don't see myself as an African designer. I see myself as a designer of African descent. Thank you very much, and that's my time.
Another round of applause for... Okay, let's give a round of applause to Mai. And then another round of applause for our TAFO rights. Because we know they are separate rights. If I hear there's a giveaway going on and I hear Mai is doing the giveaway, I will not go to where Mai is, I'll go to where our TAFO's giveaway is, right? Fantastic, fantastic show. Oh, no. But, you know, we have a surprise coming up. It's one of the centers, one of the summits that is going to be on the screen. And just while that is coming up, I want to just celebrate the fact that he said so many things, so many powerful things. And you could miss them, but you don't have to, because you can go over the session again. It's all available on YouTube. Remember, I said it's streaming live. It's also live on channels. So on YouTube, you can go to the platform NG35 and catch this session as well as every other session that has taken place today.
At the start, but I skipped it. To senior level managers, I want to talk to you. You have to start a culture of innovation. When I sit with my team and we do year plans, I say, what risk have we taken this year? I've seen all the stuff, it's great. Tell me about the risk. Because if you don't help people think about taking risks, we will not innovate. Because innovation in itself is a business. You have to redefine failure. It is only a step on the way to success.
business and tech. Like I said, all of the sessions at the platform 35 are available on YouTube. You don't have to miss anything. You can go back and watch every single thing from all of the speakers across the 3 locations. It's 1 platform, 3 venues, 3 summits. And here at the summit where we're talking about entrepreneurship and building a business from scratch, our next speaker is Mr. Julian Kuehler. If you've attended WolfBeck, you know why I hesitated a bit, because today, he's Mr. Julian Kuehler. He's an internationally accomplished business leader. He's the founder and CEO of EdomX Group, a Delaware company that has opened offices in Houston and Kenya. Prior to that, he founded Mode Group, a fintech company spanning across over 26 countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, which was acquired by Digital One in 2018. As founder and chairman of Beulah City, Julian is involved in affordable housing projects in the Kenyan housing sector. He now sits on several boards across the world with links to global leaders in various sectors. He has been recognized as the 2015 CNBC East Africa Entrepreneur of the Year, the 2012 IBM Global Entrepreneur, and in the top 40 under 40 Kenya entrepreneurs on 2 occasions. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Bloomberg International, and the New York Times. As a sought-after speaker, Julian has graced various platforms across the world, including Oxford University, various Silicon Valley events, as well as CBOS in Singapore, and also spoken at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit in Nairobi with President Barack Obama. Bishop Kuehler is a husband to Amanda Kuehler, and they are the father and mother of 3 precious boys. Please join me as we welcome, in this context, the platform, Mr. Julian Kuehler.
Thank you very much. Please have your seats. A very good morning to you all. Thank you. Nobody does these kind of events like Pastor Poju. I want to appreciate my brother for this amazing, amazing work he has done. I also want to just thank you for the amazing, amazing speakers prior to me. You know, it's good to finally meet a Nigerian called Joe. Because for us Kenyans, these names are so hard to pronounce. I have a pastor in my church called Pastor Ekelemu Ewamozino. It took me about 3 years to finally get that right. So to this amazing, amazing panel of speakers on this side, I can't imagine. I do quite a few talk events in Nairobi. To have 3 simultaneously going on and all these channels, I can't imagine what it takes to put that together. So to all of you at the Covenant Nation, well done. Well done. Thank you very much, Madam Funke, Mr. Mani, those amazing, so much journey, and I'm very torn about the direction I want to take. I have a presentation for you. It will make me look very smart. I think I'm here to do with something very important. So I'll play around with the presentation. I don't know which slides I'll use and which ones I won't. What I'm going to hope you then do is bear with me to make sure I can pass on the message. When she was reading the profile, yeah, we've done quite a few things, and I thank God for that journey. I've built companies from scratch. Even as late as when I was here for WolfBeck, I went back to Kenya and started another one. I can tell you a lot about building from scratch. But I also want to deal with a few fundamental things, because I'm realizing that this is something we have to understand. So passion deals with the intense, strong feeling about a person or a thing. And I couldn't help but hear that from all the speakers today. Regarding what they do, passion is key. Money is a great thing. Money does answer a lot of things. But entrepreneurship, I heard someone say this once in a London conversation about entrepreneurship, is putting your face out every day for people to slap. It's what it feels like sometimes. So if you're going to get into entrepreneurship, there are a few things that I think are very important to have, and some are covered in my presentation. But in these few minutes we have, I think for all of us who've come to speak to you, the key thing is for us to give you a very small taste of the context of this gathering, which is building from scratch. But at the same time, I must ask pertinent questions as we go. I remember my parents telling me they went to school without shoes. And as I was listening to Madame Funke speaking, you know, she says she's constantly evolving. I heard it in Mr. Mai's conversation, the choice between career versus entrepreneurship. Questions, deep questions. Listening to Joe talking about what he had to do in Dubai, and even just now explaining to me that, you know, it's a challenge in Nigeria to necessarily get visas for Dubai at the moment. There are 4 things I want to make sure you catch. If you're going to start anything, these 4 things are crucial. It doesn't matter if you're in tech, fashion, hospitality, events, manufacturing. There are 4 solutions to wicked problems. Then those solutions to wicked problems are born by passion. Passion takes 4 things on the designer. It takes empathy, intuition, it takes imagination, and it takes idealism. These are actually things that are in God's design on anything he does. These 4 things are key. Again, I'm not going to make assumptions. Everybody here is starting up. You're in 10th company. Some of you are just kicking off. But I believe we must trust God for a revolution that will take place in the arena of business. Why did I give the story about our parents and going to school without shoes? Because we are not. So I also wonder, has starting businesses evolved? I don't know about Nigeria. In my country, Kenya, there are too many training programs. In fact, we're tired. I mean, every week, people are being trained on how to do this, train. And by the way, you must train up a child in the way they should go. And when they are grown, they should not depart from it. So I also wonder the stages at which we are training people for things in life that they have to encounter. This generation is moving so fast. The largest company in my country is called Safaricom. About 5 years ago, they fired a group, a marketing consultancy group that got wrong a product that they were launching. And they were talking to 19-year-olds and 17-year-olds, and they realized that in tech speak, those are 2 different generations. So things are changing so fast. I wonder if we're giving sometimes advice for the days our parents were going to school without shoes to a generation that is completely shifting in terms of this thing, business, I remember in the previous business, I had offices here in Nigeria and Abuja. I had a lovely team working for me here. We were in 28 markets. I think some of you still know that business in Airtel and Glo called Borrow Me Credit. That was my business. And you may see the phone company on the front end, but the back end, it was a complete technical and finance solution. So I used to stand on a place like this, and while talking, I'm just making money. It's a beautiful business. Why would I disrupt myself? Why would I sell such a business? I had 300 million customers across the world. I had people in Indonesia. It didn't matter what time it was. When I go to sleep, the system was working. I chose to disrupt myself, sell that business, and start another one because I saw something. Listen, you have to understand how to deal with finance. You have to understand how to deal with success. It's not just starting from scratch. Sometimes the end of a thing is better than the beginning. So I had to think thoroughly about how do I disrupt myself, because I could see disruption coming. I could see it coming. And I started looking at how, again, I don't know about, I've studied a bit of Nigeria. One of the things you have going for you is that you do have a very wealthy nation. I must tell you that. Very wealthy nation. You also have pockets of capital here that you can take advantage of. In most of our countries, we have to deal with international funding. So I looked at how we were looking at finance, how we were looking at the evolution, what happens if we have to raise $100 million. So you start with $20,000, you start with $200, but over time it grows. But because of the speed of this generation, I found out that a lot of us are taking wrong capital. Found out that a lot of us are taking wrong money for our businesses. So as we evolve across East Africa, across different parts of the world, I started thinking about capital, where are we going to go? So I've broken my conversation into two parts. I'm going to come with the second part just now in about 6 minutes for my last 15 minutes and tell you something that began when I left Wharfbeck here in January. We must ask God to help us raise a mighty army, that we can work faster by connecting and networking. I think the world has become too competitive for us to do it alone. So one of the things I think that is killing us in Africa is individualism. And I'm going to deal with that shortly. I think if we can crack individualism in this generation, a lot can change. In my country, communities such as the Somali community, the Ismaili community, we have a community called the Ismaili community. 11,000 of them, they control 12% of our economy. We have the Bahora community, 30,000 people, they own their own cities. I can't understand why a country that is 80% Christian can't seem to get together. So our biggest downfall, I believe, is individualism, even in entrepreneurship. I sat with my Nigerian friend in Kenya. He owns a restaurant. Across from us was another restaurant. So in this mall, there are certain restaurants that are there. And his restaurant, you know, it's a good restaurant. He's a Christian, his wife is Christian. We sat there, but across from us was another restaurant. I don't want to tell you the name for the fact that we're live. And the restaurant was full. On a Tuesday afternoon, completely full. Why? One of those communities I'm telling you about has made a decision that none of their businesses can fail. So why do Christian businesses fail? Why do we hustle so hard? Because everybody's on their own. And I've built enough businesses to realize, yeah, you can get to the top. Yeah, the top is lonely. Yeah, we can go through all the trainings. But ultimately, why are we failing? We're failing because everybody's on their own. I'll cheer you to start, I wish you well. But there's no communal covenant that I am my brother's keeper. There's no communal covenant that what you begin, if it is a salon, get ready to see all these heads there. Are you understanding me? So, if you look at Dubai, since today we're referring to Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum a lot, let me say what he said. To be creative is to add something new to life as opposed to being a passive part of it. So entrepreneurship is great. We must start. But I wonder, to my friend, Madame Funke, today I've met someone called Funke. Usually in my country, it's all we hear is that clip, Funke, but I'm glad to finally meet someone. I'm sorry. As I listen to Mr. May, as I listen to my brother, could it be that maybe our style of entrepreneurship was our parents' style? And could it be that a generation is rising that could change how that works? I really don't think I'll take you through my, can you see, I can show you, if you can show my presentation, I really had a smart presentation. You know, I don't know if they're showing, you know, you see things that are there for you, just let it stay there for a minute, just absorb. I had something, okay? But I feel like going a different, I really had something. See, that looks smart, right? So you believe I prepared for you and I was not going to waste your time. But I really want to deal with this one, our bias. And I think the greatest challenge I've had in disrupting myself is that I've had to learn, unlearn, and relearn. and I was hearing about Diageo and the opportunities, just having to completely disrupt yourself as an entrepreneur in an extremely fast-moving world requires a different kind of thinking. And I think what we have to do is to press strategically. Because two assets you have in life, time and energy, right? I mean, these master classes, one of the things we'll discuss with Pastor Pojo is we need 4 hours with you. All we can give you today is a drop of our lives and experiences. But it's not just press, it's so it means I don't want to waste 20 years. Now listen, this is important. For anyone who's here who's doing business, I think they'll agree with me. To build a great business, if you're going to reach a point and say it has succeeded, you need a minimum of 7 to 10 years. That's the truth. Please, Mark Zuckerberg, notwithstanding, it takes you 7 to 10 years to build a good business. It also takes you 7 to 10 years for a business you are really hoping had promised to fail. So for every one of us, you have at least in life, when you started, a business, a good one. I'm not talking about that little experiment you're trying. No, I'm talking about if it was starting to scale or something was starting to happen and it starts to track, you have 7 to 10 years. If you're lucky to do 2 good businesses, then you have those, that business begins to do something for you. So you have to ask God for wisdom to press strategically, because it is easy to lose 10 years just like that. And in a generation that's moving so fast, 10 years is a long time to lose something. So we must ask ourselves the question, am I on my own? Can I really pull this off on my own? Which is what happened to me when I came for Wolfbeck. I'm going to give you a story. My slides are still going, so just let people see that I prepared for them. Yes, we have to be creative. Yes, we have to be courageous. Yes, I'll do this one day when I come. Yes, you have to have grit. Yes, you have to have focus. Yes, you have to move with speed. You know, I'm telling you all the good things that we tell you at meetings of this kind. Yes, we have to have information assimilation. You can't do it on your own. But I believe we're actually in another dimension. When I was building, this is one of the projects I'm doing in my country. These are 1,070 apartments. This is just one of them. My concept to my team was, if a waiter cannot afford my homes, they're too expensive. So I told them that solutions to wicked problems are born by passion. Why is it important to me? The first job I had in America, I was a waiter. I went through certain experiences that have stayed in my head. I don't think there's any restaurant I go to that a waiter will not remember me, because I make it a point to interact with them in a way that is life. So I fought hard. The business model was not making sense to many in the beginning. It took us 7 years to crack it. But solutions to wicked problems are born by passion. So I fought with the banks. I fought with my presidents, both of them. I fought with our parliamentarians. We lobbied hard. We got certain things going, not just on my own, just through the country's bills. We passed bills that started to look at affordable housing. My previous president and now our current president are very passionate about affordable housing. We have bills that changed how our finance bills are looking like as a country. Now it is possible for a first-time homeowner for us to work with banks for a mortgage that would not go beyond 9% on the Kenya shilling. Secondly, for my students, $1,000. Law engineering in our units. This is project 1. This is project 2. That we can offer $450 a month. Solutions. So now you can rent to own my homes and be a homeowner. Where am I going with this? I'm not trying to show you that I can build. I'm tired of having success on my own. So I have customers. But I didn't like the fact that, I can't talk too much about it because there's a lot of confidentiality there. But I thought about finance. So my part was to disrupt shelter, to disrupt finance, to disrupt certain things. So I went and looked at my business model for my previous business, and I went ahead and called my business Edom X. My previous business was called Mode. I didn't even have time to change the name, but I wanted to do things upside down. So I simply just reversed the name. So it has nothing to do with the biblical Edomites. It's just Edom X. Because I just said, I want to disrupt myself. Are you understanding me? And I wanted to look at finance differently. So we disrupted finance. And I went back to Kenya. I had to settle back because it takes a lot to disrupt yourself. And we went ahead and began Edom X, which I decided to disrupt it in America and also in Africa to show that it can work in an emerging market and a developed market. And we're able right now. We just started in September last year, but we built the company over the last 3 years, already over 1 million customers. And we are looking at finance with zero interest. Finance at zero interest. So people ask me, how do you make money? Or 10 million customers, and on the back end, I give them finance to come to your restaurant in Dubai. Could you give me a standing discount? And they're happy to give me 10% because guess what I have? I have customers. I worked with the phone companies. I said, what if we could disrupt finance and change the way people look at finance? So I'm able to then use the criteria in the phone companies' mobile money to assess the kind of people I can give this credit to. But while doing that, it evolved into something I wasn't expecting. All of a sudden, people like Joe are willing to give me the discount, whether I'm giving the person a loan or not. So now I'm able to start thinking about a global brand, and this is 10 times the business I'd built before because I had the courage to disrupt myself. And I'm saying all this to say, then I came to Nigeria for Wolfbeck. While I was doing all this business, my previous business, I was in Qatar with some very lovely, wealthy friends. And we were sitting in a house about this big. And my friend had guests coming in all along, and he was a community leader. And because they own a very large phone company across the world, I was partnering with them. And we sat there as their guest. We had appetizer 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time the meal came, it's the first time I've ever seen food carried by 2 men with big trays like that. Anyway, I say that to emphasize a point. And these people sat me down, and I was watching as all these people were coming in. This was, I kid you not, 5 years ago. And at some point at midnight, we started eating at 6 p.m. We were still eating at midnight. At midnight, the shisha had gotten into my head and all that stuff. You know, for those of you who've never smoked shisha, secondhand smoke is dangerous. It's more dangerous than the one that they're inhaling. And I'm not a guy who takes a lot of drugs. I don't take any drugs, period. So there's a story I'd have told you, but my time is really narrowing down. I really want to make this point because this is important. So he's sitting there, and we're now winding down. We're finished. Business deal is done because some of these people, they relate a lot before they do business with you. So I asked him, I said, Sheikh, who are all these people coming into your house? There's been hundreds of people streaming in here from 6 p.m. I've seen them go that direction, humongous living room he had. And he says to me, oh, those are my people. So I said, what do you mean those are your people? He says, these are my people. They're allowed to come in here. They can come and take a shower. They can eat. They can even take a fresh whatever of clothes, because all their clothes are kind of the same, small, medium, large, and just come and change. And I'm not supposed to ask them who they are. He says, but you're a priest, no? So I said, yes. All this is Abraham. I was agitated. My agitation, the seed of agitation for me started then. I realized, whether it's Qatar, Dubai, one of the things these guys have is community. And I can't understand why the most I can't seem to reconcile in my mind, and please forgive me because I get very emotional about it, why the most evangelized continent in the world just doesn't seem to understand that God's agenda was never to do it alone. Because if you go ahead and build your shop alone, your restaurant alone, your fashion shop alone, it doesn't matter. But when we start to think as a community, so I started disrupting my thinking. I said, fine, I've built successful houses. I started looking at, I'm going to go to another part of my slide, a book written by Price Pritchett. You should read it. It's called The U Squared. He gives an analogy of a fly. He says a man comes into a shop, and there's this fly, and he's watching the fly on a window. And the fly is trying, it can see outside, but it can't get outside. It's using energy. It's buzzing. It's doing everything it can do. And he's just asking himself, I wish it could see the door and realize that where it's trying to go, that's the right way to go. But this is what a lot of us are doing. We're putting a lot of effort. The window is there, which means I can see outside, but I can never seem to get there. And this frustration is real. I don't think, and please tell me if you think I'm not doing justice to this conversation, Mr. my dear friend, Madame Funke, and Joe, if you don't think I'm doing justice, to have this generation go through what we've gone through, I think would be wrong. I think there's a better way. I don't have to build these houses alone. So I went back to my country after this agitation started. I came for Wolfbeck. And when I was here, I was listening to the speakers. There was a lot of depth. In fact, I was very intimidated, I must be honest. After listening to Apostle Selman, Apostle Lubega, I just sat there saying, now what have I come to say to these people? Surely. Some smart, depth. But in this kingdom, every joint supplies. In this kingdom, I give mine, you give yours, right? So what we have to crack in Africa, because the most evangelized continent in the world has the highest infant mortality rates, the highest poverty rates, the highest corruption rates in the world. And there has to be a question we ask ourselves about this disconnect. How is it that we speak of this great kingdom thing, yet the disconnect in our day-to-day life is, listen, come listen to me, you go do it, I wish you well. No, there has to be better. And I feel some of us must disrupt that. So I looked at all the things that God, thank you. I looked at all the things that God has enabled me to build, and I said, I'm done building wealth alone. Something has to change. Because in my companies, I got private equity funds, I got hedge funds, but at the end of the day, I have fellow Kenyans who've taken money from private equity funds, and they're all at home right now. They've all lost their businesses. Sometimes that money is not good for your business. Just the truth. So we must create something different. My time is up. I'm going to borrow 2 minutes so that I can be invited again. Just to have this serious conversation. Because, guys, we've done it. We've built these things, and if you want to feel our highs, you can come and feel them. But there's a frustration we feel because how does it come back to the people? How does it come back to my brother and sister? How do I become my brother and sister's keeper so that I'm asked by another Arab? In my country, 11,000 people control 13% of Kenya's economy because they are a community. They buy sugar from one another. They don't allow funds to get out of their ecosystem. They help each other and they make sure that they're together. Sometimes we hardly know how you came to church. Hardly know whether you have food in your house. Listen, I am my brother's keeper. So, in looking at what we did, I came for Wolfbeck. The agitation had reached final level. I said, I'm going to go start this thing. God has shown it to me. I was so agitated when I slept in my hotel here in Nigeria. A vision came to me so clearly at about 3 a.m. in the morning. I got up, I prayed, and I went ahead and executed what it is. I went back to Kenya. I kicked off what we call the Kingdom Commonwealth. And I really believe that it has a blueprint that is required by the church. And the Kingdom Commonwealth basically enabled us to create something. I don't have the time, and I want to be disciplined. It created something. You can go look it up, kingdomcommonwealth.com. It begins to say that when I'm in Dubai, Joe's business is my business. We started looking at contributing every month to create a 20-year fund. I believe we can overtake the Black Rocks and all these other guys. It's not a competition, but the kingdom of God has the capacity to become each other's keepers. I said, instead of me building my house, and you see that fly, that frustration is real. That we're using so much energy. I can see where I want to go, but I can't seem to know the way. The second thing Price Preacher tells you is that going up the stairs one step at a time, it's not going to cut it anymore. We have to leapfrog some things. We have to leap jump, rather, some things. It's a quantum leap, and that's what we have to do. So we have to create systems. And the whole model of try harder, I don't believe is the answer. I think we have to work smarter. And I think we have to change how things have been done. Listen, I think you can tell, for all of us as speakers, we need time. And we need a master class so that we can take you through why are we disrupting it? Why are we asking us to think different as a generation? And how do we picture that end and bring it to the beginning? Because that's really where it needs to be. So Kingdom Commonwealth started in Kenya. We're already thousands of members from Wolfbeck here. It got birthed here, and they've bought into the vision. And I've said to them, my next houses, we build them together. My next things, we do them together. Yours, we do them together. And we created a system and showed the way. If I had the time, I'd show you why it's time for us to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you at the next platform. By God's grace. Thank you.
It's definitely a worthy standing ovation, sir. Thank you. Don't stop. Let the applause keep going. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Wow. You may be seated, please. You know, if I could put all the wows I'm hearing, I'll probably be going home with a very mighty bag of wows. And everyone truly deserved. Very, very thought-provoking. The solution to wicked problems equals money. The solution to wicked problems equals money. But it's never a game to go alone. God's agenda is for us to do it together. Another round of applause, please. And as you do, also celebrate yourself. It's an applause for yourselves as well. This entire auditorium is full. It's full of people who have gotten out of their beds right in the middle of the week. You know, it's not every day we have a public holiday on Wednesday, and you know you have to get to work the next day, but you're here, and so I celebrate you. Please celebrate yourself once again. And I'm also asking you to clap so that you can also encourage me. So it's very much a shared applause. As you know, the platform Nigeria is going on live at 3 different locations. The people at the Lekki place, the Lekki place is where we're holding the summit about women in business and women in these things matter. All of these things do add up. And that's why, thankfully, with the power of technology, we're able to catch up on all of these sessions. So right here is a snippet from the session that is going on right now at the Covenant Temple, Lekki, where Mrs. Ibukwa Wushika is talking about women in business and tech. You don't have to miss that session. It's still on YouTube, as well as every other session that you have listened to here today. A lot of these things we need to listen to over and over again. And like Mr. Joe, the first speaker, said, hear them. It might not be what they're saying, it's what you're hearing from what they're saying. So once again, the hashtag to join the conversations online is the platform NG35. The platform NG35. That is the universal hashtag to post your pictures, join the conversation, speak about your experiences and all of the takeaways. I can see some people being very obedient and bringing out their phones. I hope you're not going on Instagram at this point and not doing what I said you should do. So please go up, go to your favorite social media platforms, go to LinkedIn, go to Instagram, and on WhatsApp especially. I think it's also very important to share the links from YouTube as well. So if you are used to sharing stuff on your WhatsApp status, please just go to YouTube. It's at the platform NG. We can actually do it together. My phone is not here. But just go to YouTube at the platform NG. You'll probably see 3 live sessions going on. You see the platform 35.0, you see the platform 35.1 and 35.2, all live. Just copy the links, post them on your WhatsApp, and so that people can hear. As we're listening, we know that the more people that get it, the better and the farther that we will go. So please, let's share the message. Without further ado, let me just bring up our next speaker, who's the final speaker at this particular summit, where we're talking about entrepreneurship and building a business from scratch. He is not speaking for the first time, so it's truly an honor to have him once again at the platform. And so quick secret. His session last year, the last time he was here, was so powerful. I just kept on seeing the views go. The views just kept on increasing because it was very practical. And so it's an honor to have him here once again. He's no one else but Mr. or Dr. Gabriel Ogbeche. Mr. Dr. Gabriel Ogbeche, OON, is the founder and group managing director of Rain Oil Limited, a leading energy company in Nigeria. He has over 30 years of sales, marketing, and operations experience within the oil and gas space. Dr. Ogbeche founded Rain Oil Limited in 1997 and has overseen the growth of the group's business operations across the entire downstream value chain, including investments in agriculture and real estate. Today, Rain Oil Group has strategic assets including 3 ultra-modern petroleum products storage depots, over 25 LPG retail outlets, 170 plus retail petrol stations, a fleet of over 300 petroleum product tank trucks, and a staff strength of over 2,000 employees. He's an alumnus of the Harvard Business School's 57th Owner-President Management Program and a pioneer member of the Lagos Business School Owner Management Program. Dr. Ogbeche is the chairman of Eterna PLC and a non-executive director at Globus Bank. He sits on the board of several companies operating in the agro-allied and real estate sectors. Dr. Gabriel was conferred with the Officer of the Order of the Niger OON in 2022, and he's also the recipient of several other awards internationally. Please welcome to the platform once again, Dr. Gabriel Ogbeche.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, the Covenant Nation. Again, I want to thank Pastor Poju Imade and the entire team of the Covenant Nation for once more finding me worthy to come back to this great platform to come and talk to these very distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I must complain that it's a very tough call to be made to talk after very powerful speakers like somebody like Julian, who just spoke to us. I hope I can keep the momentum going. Thank you very much for that great session. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Lord, I thank you. I commit this session into your hands. Help me. I thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. My name is Gabriel Obeche. I'm the Group Managing Director of Rain Oil Limited. Rain Oil Limited is a company that plays in the downstream space of the Nigeria oil and gas industry. Today, we'll be talking on the topic entrepreneurship, building a business from scratch. Entrepreneurship, building a business from scratch. Rain Oil is your classic case of building a business from scratch. Rain Oil, 1997, essentially from the scratch, building something out of nothing. Today we'll look at the topic from two broad outlines. The first, I want to talk about what are the motivations for starting a business. What are those things that motivate us to start our own businesses? Then, of course, we'll now look at the strategies for building a business from the scratch. What are the things that motivate us to start our own businesses? The first thing I want to talk about is the desire to be your own boss. A lot of people just want to be their own boss. They don't want to take instructions from anyone. They want to be the person who calls the shots. So they go out there to start their own businesses. The second thing I want to talk about is the economy. At times, the economy just throws entrepreneurship on you. I remember in the year 2004, when we had the first set of banking consolidation, Nigeria had about 128 banks then, and they asked the banks to move their capital from 2 billion to 25 billion. That process shrank the banking industry from about 125 banks to just about 24 banks. Within a year and a half, a lot of bank MDs, a lot of executive directors, general managers in the financial institutions suddenly found themselves out of job. A lot of them picked up their briefcases and started their own businesses. They didn't plan for it, but the economy thrust entrepreneurship on them. The next thing is financial independence. If you want to be financially independent, the best thing to do is start your own business. Those who are in paid employment, you see, no matter how great the job you have a great job, they are paying you 120 million naira per annum, which is 10 million naira a month. That's a great job, right? But the truth is, your salary is 10 million naira a month. The day they pay you 10 million and 5,000 naira in a month, somebody will say you have been overpaid. Because your salary is a finite sum. It's a finite sum. But for the business people, your income is unbounded. We say in mathematics, your income can go from 0 to infinity. There is nothing like too much money. You know, you see a businessman this year, he makes a profit of 100 billion naira, and then the next year he's planning how to make it 200 billion naira. Because there is nothing like too much money. So if you want to be financially independent, your best bet is start your own business. Then the next one is freedom from 8 to 5 lifestyle, work style rather. You know, a lot of people are just not wired to go to an office at 8 o'clock and have to close at 5 o'clock. They want that flexibility of being able to choose when they work and how they work. So people like that also start their own business. Then, of course, people want to follow their passion. There are people who have passion for food, who have passion for cooking, and then they leave their job to go follow their passion. Now, what are the strategies for building a business from the scratch? Number one, identify a viable business idea. Identify a viable business idea. Think clearly about your life goals. Why do I want to become an entrepreneur? What vision do I have for my business? Define the essence of your business in exact terms. What exactly do I want to do? Research and evaluate your business idea, understand your sector and your industry, and then develop a business plan and calculate your costs. Identify a viable business idea. You see, there is money in this country. There is money. I look at a city like Lagos. There are 20 million people in Lagos. So just imagine that everybody in Lagos spends just an average of 500 naira on food a day. 500 naira. If 20 million people spend 500 naira on food every day, they spend 10 billion naira every day on food alone. 300 billion naira is spent every month in this city alone just on food. Now, what that tells you is that you have every morning, money actually begins to flow through the city of Lagos. Wherever you live, money is flowing through the front of your house. All you need to do is come out of your house and log into it. Just do something. Be part of the economic cycle. Do something. Some years ago, I had this classmate in secondary school, Godwin Umokole. I have not seen him for a very long time. So I went looking for him somewhere in Suleja. So while trying to locate his house, in one untarred road, just trying to locate the house, my eyes caught a lady in a lonely road. She just had her setup. She was selling roasted plantain. She just caught my attention, and I said, Gabriel, you know what? This woman is doing something. It doesn't matter if her entire wares, which I calculated mentally to be like 10,000 naira, she was doing something. If the entire food market of Suleja is 100 million naira per day, that 100 million naira is not complete without her 10,000 naira. She is part of the economic cycle. You know, I see a lot of people, they have grand dreams. You want to have a swanky 5-star restaurant somewhere. That may be the vision, but that doesn't have to be the starting point. You have to identify your starting point. The route to that 5-star swanky restaurant on the high streets of Lagos may just start from going to sell boiled rice to one construction site somewhere where you have 50 people every day looking for food to eat. Do something. What did I say? Do something. Savings. The first and best way to raise to start a business is through your personal savings. When I ask people what's the difference between 100,000 naira and 80,000 naira, everybody will tell me it's 20,000 naira. That's fine. The next thing is, the man who earns 100,000 naira, at the end of the month, he's broke, naturally. The man who also earns 80,000 naira, at the end of the month, he's broke, but he's not dead. Am I correct? Now, the next question is, if the man who earns 80,000 naira, at the end of the month, is broke, but is not dead, how come the man who earns 100,000 naira cannot save 20,000 naira? You know why? It's consumption pattern. One lady is carrying a bag. They say it's a Gucci bag. It's 100,000. Another one is carrying a bag. They say it's, give it one swanky name. They say it's 150,000. What is the difference? They are all bags. Now listen. If you earn 100,000 naira and you cannot save 20,000, if you earn 500,000 naira, you cannot save 50,000. Because as your income expands, so does your taste expand to match your income. You know, there's what I call the mango principle. God is wonderful. God in creation, in creating the fruit, if you take a mango fruit, you eat it, you eat it, you eat it, you eat it until you get to a point, what do you see inside? Is the seed. What are you supposed to do with the seed? Now, if you consciously plant the seed, or you even throw the seed away unconsciously, and it falls somewhere and abides there, you know what happens? The seed germinates to give you a mango tree that gives you fruit in perpetuity. You are not supposed to consume your fruit and your seed. Too many people are eating both their fruit and their seed. You need to save. I will give you some examples. I need to throw up some slides. You know, in my early days, I want us to look at this receipt very carefully. Look at this slide very carefully. This slide is dated 27th of June, 1996. It's in favor of Equator Finance and Securities Limited. It's an official receipt in the name of Mr. Gabriel Obechi and myself, and it's a receipt for 500 naira. I invested 500 naira to buy stock. I want us to look at the next receipt. It's a receipt for 1,000 naira, dated 8th of August, 1996. 1,000 naira. I invested 1,000 naira to buy shares. I will look at the next receipt. It's CSL Stockbrokers Limited, also in my name, dated 1996. It's a receipt for 11,000 naira. When I was preparing for this session, I just decided to go down memory lane and bring out this to show our young ones. There is nothing that is too small to save, to invest. When you go out on a Friday night and you spend 100,000 naira on a bottle of drink, my guy, you just consumed 3,000 units of Zenith Bank shares, just like that. That's why he just drank away. Do the math. Zenith Bank is trading at about 31 naira, and in a sitting, you just drank away 3,000 units. If instead of spending that 100,000 naira on that drink, you go and invest in stock, 20 years from today, you'll be looking at receipts like this. And that stock would have given you dividend year in, year out. Change your mentality. Of course, the next thing I want to talk about, time is definitely not our friend today. God, I have just 10 minutes to go. If you want to start a business, of course, you talk to family and friends. The first person you sell your business idea to is your spouse. If your spouse does not believe in the business you want to do, then you have a very long way to go. Then there is equity, venture capital. You can sell shares to people. I was excited when Mr. Julian talked about venture capital can be very, very expensive. Because not only will they give you money, they want to play an active role in running the business. And if you're not careful, you're one step away from losing your business. But again, it's a source of fund. Another one is grants, SME funds. We all know of the Tony Elumelu Foundation funds that give people grants to start businesses. Number 3, understand your business environment. What factors directly impact your company operations, performance, and competitiveness? Identify and monitor threats that could put your business model at risk. Understand your business environment. In understanding your business environment, you must ask yourself, what are the things that are likely to disrupt your business? Because you see, businesses are not a one-year thing. When you leave your job to start a business, you don't want to run the business for 1 year. You don't want to run it for 2 years. You want to run your business for 30 years, 40 years, 100 years. But the way we run the business 20 years ago, it's not the way we ran it 10 years ago, it's not the way we are running it now, and it's definitely not the way we're going to run it 10 years from today. The only thing that is constant is change. And most importantly is disruption. There's a Harvard professor, he's passed on now, Professor Clay Christensen, that I like his writing so much. He's the man who propounded the theory of disruptive innovation. What is going to disrupt your business? I've run Rain Oil now for 27 years. When we started Rain Oil, one product called LPFO, low pore fuel oil. Low pore fuel oil accounted for the bulk of our business, accounted for like 70% of our revenue. One day, around year 2000, 2001, I was driving on Oba Akran, and I saw that people had dug up the side of the road and laid a lot of pipes on the side of the road. And I called my people, I said, what are those pipes for? He said they are piping gas to the industrial companies. What are they going to do with the gas? He said they are going to fire their boilers with the gas. I said, oh, that means they won't buy our LPFO again. I got to the office, I called my people, I said, LPFO is an endangered business. Let's start moving into retail. By then, we had only 2 petrol stations in the whole country. Between then and now, we've grown our retail stations from only 2 to 200 petrol stations today. And you know what? Between then and now, LPFO that accounted for maybe 60% of our revenue, in the last 10 years, LPFO has accounted for 0% of our revenue, even though our revenue has grown multiple times. You have to be sensitive to what is happening around you. Same with LPG, what we call gas. Between 2011 and 2015, for those of us in the downstream sector of the Nigeria oil and gas industry, a product called DPK, dual purpose kerosene, was the bread and butter of the business. Everybody wanted DPK. Everybody wanted DPK. But by 2015, I saw the demand for DPK begin to slide down and the demand for LPG begin to ramp up. I called my team, I said, DPK is an endangered product. Let's begin to change. By 2017, we have started building an 8,000 metric ton LPG facility in Ijebu in Lagos. By 2020, we had commissioned our LPG facility in Ijebu, Lagos. 4 years afterwards, we are firmly in the gas space. So now everybody is talking about gas. Gas is the way to go. Guy, we identified it 7 years ago, and we took steps to get into that space. What is disrupting your business? You must ask yourself. The same way, I travel abroad. When I go to a city like Houston, 10 years ago, I could count the number of electric cars on the road. Maybe 1 out of every 20 cars that pass is an EV. But now you go abroad, it's like 1 out of every 4 cars that pass is an EV vehicle. EV is disrupting petrol-powered vehicles. We may be in Nigeria and think that we are insulated. We are not. We are part of the world system because to start with, we don't produce any cars of our own. So whatever is happening there, that disruption is going to get here. And we need to, from today, begin to prepare for that disruption because you don't want to be caught unawares. You need to work very hard. You need to have grit. You need to have the work culture. There's what I call the work culture. If you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, you need the work culture. You know, when I started Rain Oil, I've shared the story so many times. I needed money for just 1 truck of AGO. But the challenge was that when I supplied that 1 truck of AGO, I needed to wait for like 2 weeks to get paid. Because if I don't get paid, I can't do the next transaction. So I had a lot of what I would call idle times in between. But I had an office. I was in my office 8 a.m. every day. I would go to the office. I will open my door. I will sit down. Then I will get up. I will lock the door, and I will go out. Work starts at 8. If I get to the office at 8:30, I will say, Gabriel, you're late. Gabriel, you're late. The fact that you're the owner of the business is no license not to go to work. You have to develop the work culture. Then you have to be very hardworking. You need a strong work ethic. Ensure that these values are ingrained within the company staff and business practices. Regularly evaluate and improve your business practices and values. Empower employees to contribute to innovation and problem solving. You need to be very hardworking. Let me share this story, even though time is not on our side today. Starting from when I was in paid employment, when I was still working for Ascon Oil, I had I used to supply a lot of petroleum products to Nestle PLC, Nestle Nigeria PLC in Agbara. And then we take trucks to Agbara. I used to go with the truck myself. Maybe we'll get to Agbara around 5 or 6 p.m. It's going to take like 2 or 3 hours to discharge the truck. And then we sit down there while they are discharging the truck. By the boiler house, I still remember, there was this 4-legged wooden stool with a flat top, if you know those kind of stools. I would just sit there very quietly while they are discharging the product. Around 8 p.m., the gentleman who used to discharge the product, his name is Obukata. Obukata will look at me and say, Gabriel, go home. I say, no, how can I go home? You want me to go home so that you give me shortage? I'm not going anywhere. Let me digress a bit. The downstream oil and gas business is a high turnover, low margin business. The turnover is high, the margin is low. So, when you supply 30,000 liters of AGO, for example, just follow my train of thought, 29,000 liters can be cost. Your entire margin is 1,000 liters. So, you can't start talking of margin if your product is not complete. So, you must ensure that you don't have shortage, because if they give you shortage of 500 liters, you may think that you've lost 500 liters out of 30,000 liters, which is really not material. But the truth is, you've lost 500 liters out of 1,000 liters. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So it's very important you keep your eye on the ball. So I will stay. Maybe by 9 p.m., they finish discharging, they will sign my way bill, and then 9 p.m., I will leave Agbara and start driving back to my home in Egbeda then. So when I started Rain Oil, I carried that same work culture, that same hard work. When I got an order, remember I got an order from Liver Brothers to supply them in Agbara. I was alone then. I left my house 5:30 in the morning in Egbeda, drove to Mosimi, hired a truck, loaded it, drove behind this truck from Mosimi to Ikorodu to Ketu Ojota, my 12, to Antonio Oshodi, my 2, and then the long stretch to Agbara. Got there around 5 p.m., sat down, they discharged my truck. And then I went home, maybe got home around 10 or 11 p.m. on a Saturday. I kept my eye on the ball. If you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, you must learn to follow through. Keep your eye on the ball. Don't make assumptions. You make assumptions and you leave, you come back the next day, you hear a story. Now, talking about Liver Brothers. Liver Brothers, then, these days they call themselves Unilever. But then, it used to be Liver Brothers Nigeria PLC. They were at 15 Dockyard Road, Apapa, the same place where NIPCO is today. I remember I was chasing Liver Brothers. I needed their order. They had a purchasing manager. For argument's sake, I will call him Mr. P. P for procurement. I marketed this man. The man didn't agree. The man no send me. So what was I going to do? So I re-strategized. My time is up. I hope I can get 5 minutes. I re-strategized. So this day, I left my house 5:30 in the morning. I got to Liver Brothers before 7 a.m. They had these factory workers that would just enter the factory like a head. I just joined the crowd and slid into the premises as if I was a factory worker. And promptly, I went to the procurement floor. I was the first person to get to the procurement floor. I wasn't a staff, but I was the first person to get there. I waited. A few moments later, the logistics director, a gentleman called Tuyi Ehindero, Tuyi came in. I watched him. He entered his office. I gave him a little time, and I went to tap on his door. Yes, what can I do for you? I said, I want to supply LPFO to Liver Brothers. My pricing was good. My payment terms was good. Liver Brothers needed the product. So why not? So he called the procurement man, the same procurement man I've been talking to all along. I said, go and give Reno LPO for 2 trucks of. That one just looked on incredulously. It's like, what's going on here? I got the order. I did the supply. 2 weeks later, I came back. They paid me. I was excited. I collected my check. And then the man saw me smiling very broadly. Reno, have they paid you? I said, yes. He said, how far now? I said, oh, God, no far. On this one, no far. What's your strategy? What's your strategy? You want to run a business successfully? You need a strategy. What's your strategy? Harvard Business School will teach you that a mediocre strategy, excellently executed, is better than a poor strategy, a great strategy, poorly executed. What's your strategy? You need to have a strategy, and then you need to execute that strategy diligently. In our early days, you know, we were what you call then independent marketers. The downstream oil and gas sector is divided into the independent marketers and the major marketers. So Rain Oil was an independent marketer. We had 2 petrol stations in Lagos then, one in Agege, one in Ikpaja. And we were getting far less fuel than we needed. The majors were getting far more fuel than they needed. So we re-strategized. So what we did, we branded one of our stations to one of the major marketers. And then we're getting fuel in the name of that station to feed all our stations in the network. And then we iterated that strategy. So we went to Kaduna, we got 2 stations. One Rain Oil, one the major marketer. We went to Asaba, we got 2 stations. One Rain Oil, one the major marketer. Went to Anambra, we got 2 stations. So we just iterated that strategy. And you know what? On the back of that strategy, we scaled massively between 2002 and 2011 when we built our own depot. What is your strategy? You must have a strategy. My time is up. I need to quickly close. You need to establish an optimum business structure, because when you start a business, from day one, you are the MD, you're the operations manager, you're the accountant, you're the head, you're everything rolled into one. And then you begin to bring people and quietly begin to cede responsibilities to them. You need to establish an optimum business strategy. Then you need to be present. Know your key stakeholders, your financials, your regulators, your customers, your team, and everything. And then build the right mindset about money. You're only in business if you're able to make profit. You're only in business if you can preserve your profit, your liquidity, and then keep your earnings in the business, reinvest your earnings in the business. Most importantly, build resilience. You need to build resilience. Why do you need to build resilience? You need to build resilience because shocks will come. When those shocks come, are you able to withstand the shocks? When you earn money, when you make money, keep money in the business so that it's like building a buffer around you, so that when those waves come and they hit on you and they buffet you, are you able to withstand it? The economy has gone through a lot of shock, FX devaluation in the last 1 year or so. The companies that will come out of it are those companies which over the years have built resilience within them to be able to withstand shock. And then in closing, I will quote the founder of Chuck E. Cheese. He said, the critical ingredient is getting off your butt and doing something. It's as simple as that. A lot of people have ideas, but there are few who decide to do something about them. It's not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Do something about it, and it will be well with each and every one of you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
A round of applause, please. Let's keep it. It's so powerful to hear how Dr. Obeche remembers these things. You might be seated, please. You may be seated. Thank you so much. Please just celebrate yourselves.
Pastor Poji, thank you.
You know this, and I think it's actually very, very cool weather out there. So you could have actually been on your bed, right? Having a really relaxing day. So it's really, really wonderful that we're all here. But I want, just before we round up, to celebrate, you know, two sets of people. First, this is your first time physically at the platform. Your first time, just show of hands, and maybe just stand up so we can record. Wow, you're actually, you just stand up, celebrate yourselves, and let us celebrate you. Amazing. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting this. Amazing. First time since 2020, since 2007. Fantastic. Please celebrate yourselves once more as you sit down. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure some of you have come from different parts of Lagos or even outside Lagos. I hear there's somebody who's sitting right there who was at home and watching and said, this thing is getting too hot, and left his house and came. So that is actually a very, very wonderful story to tell. But the second set of people I'd like to recognize today are people who are still in school, not university, primary school and secondary school, who have come here today to hear, to see. You just stand up. If you're in secondary school, you're in primary school, and you're here. Amazing. Amazing. I celebrate you. We all celebrate you, because truly, you are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. Please have your seat. Thank you so much. And on that note, I would like to just say a very, very big thank you to all of our speakers today. Please just join me in celebrating them once more. Yeah, very, very worthy woos. Because really, from the moment you hear you're going to speak at an event, your blood pressure just changes, I'm very sure. You know you have to deliver. On a platform like this, it's our honor to have you. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So just as in honor and in respect for our speakers, let's allow our speakers get escorted out of the venue. So thank you so much. Let's do that as we escort them with a resounding round of applause as our speakers are ushered out of the auditorium. Thank you so much. Amazing. So this is also to, reiterate that the conversations are still going on. Right about now, Channels Television will be picking up the feed from the Lekki Temple, where we have the Women in Business and Women in Tech Summit still going on. And please know that all of the sessions are still available on YouTube and also on Mixlr. All of the sessions are available at the Platform NG. So just go to the Platform NG and you see all of the individual speakers and all of the sessions in their respective titles. So once again, a big, big thank you. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Ngozi Akinle, and it's my honor to anchor you through this edition of the platform. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful Workers' Day. Happy Workers' Day, everyone.